Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, National Mecha. Invincibility starts with a million increase. Chapter 21. Within 2 hours. Report to the Law Enforcement Bureau. After receiving this news, Su Yong did not feel any surprise. On the contrary, it would be unreasonable if the Law Enforcement Bureau did not find them. Let's go together. The guy the first met at that time, the Apocalypse Illustrated book didn't give any information. It means that he appears for the first time, and you can also see that he is not a pure monster, but is mutated by people like us, of this kind of thing. If it spreads, it will definitely cause widespread panic. If I guess correctly, people from the Law Enforcement Bureau called us over. In addition to asking for details, they should also sign a confidentiality agreement with us. Su Yong analyzed them one by one. He didn't notice at all that Chen Anon beside him looked like a little girl. To be honest, the charm of a man does not lie in how handsome you are, but in whether you have your own opinions and opinions when encountering things. Obviously, Su Yong, who has both, is the sure winner. Even Chen Luoyan felt a little fluttering in her heart when she looked at Su Yang's serious profile. Let's go, the Law Enforcement Bureau is not far from here. Finished. Su Yong summoned the accompanying mecha. For a mecha master, the speed in mecha form is much faster than riding in a car. Well, come to your senses, swallowed the saliva. Chen Anon also summoned the accompanying mecha. The three of them headed towards the Law Enforcement Bureau together. Hangzhou, Law Enforcement Bureau. Among the major departments in Daxia, the Abyss Jurisdiction Bureau is mainly responsible for managing matters related to the Abyss. The Law Enforcement Bureau focuses on the order management of the main world. After all, in this era of mechas with extraordinary power. But not all mecha masters are good citizens who strictly abide by the law. Therefore, whether it is a crime committed by ordinary people or a crime committed by a mecha master, it falls under the management of the Law Enforcement Bureau. At this time, Law Enforcement Bureau morgue, several figures gathered in front of one of the beds, looking grim. Among the crowd, a man wearing the uniform of the Abyss Research Institute leaned over the corpse, using various instruments to record various data. Finally, the man straightened his upper body and wiped the cold sweat from his forehead. This guy does have remnants of Abyss energy. His muscle tissue and cell structure have been reorganized and isomerized under the influence of the Abyss energy, greatly increasing its strength. After testing, his muscles are as hard as a 3-star mecha master's companion mecha. This is simply a miracle. This researcher's words. The eyes of all the senior officials of the Law Enforcement Bureau present turned cold instantly. Because this means that someone has mastered the ability to give those who have not awakened the companion mecha a power comparable to that of a mecha master. How terrible is this? As long as this matter is made public, the level of turmoil it would cause is simply unimaginable. To know, since the advent of the mecha era, the gap between mecha masters and ordinary people is almost completely insurmountable. Now, if someone told you that they could give you power comparable to that of a mecha master, would you be moved? This is simply Pandora's box. Have all the people involved in this incident confirmed it? In the center of the crowd, Zhao Wei, the director of the Hangzhou Law Enforcement Bureau, frowned. Beside him, the law enforcement captain responsible for this case quickly reported. Reporting to the director, among the people involved in this case, there were 26 witnesses, ordinary people, and 3 participants, mecha masters. Hearing this, Zhao Wei nodded. Everyone who witnessed it should do their best to deal with the aftermath and not let this matter leak out at all. As for the 3 participants, where are they now? Those 3 participants have already contacted them to come to the Law Enforcement Bureau. They should be arriving soon. Zhao Wei nodded. Then he looked at the researcher from the Abyss Research Institute. Researcher Lin, please go back to your department now and report this matter to Director Zheng and ask him to contact the General Administration of Abyss Research. Well, Researcher Lin calmed down and immediately left the Law Enforcement Bureau. After researcher surnamed Lin left, Zhao Wei found one of his confidants. Go and investigate first the identities, backgrounds, family backgrounds of the 3 mecha masters. The more detailed they are, the better. Good. After the confidant went down, Zhao Wei always frowned. Looking at the alien corpse that had been stitched up in front of him, his eyes were like knives. Not a moment. The confidant hurried over. Director Zhao. He hesitated to speak, then looked at several colleagues beside him. When Zhao Wei saw this, he pushed back the others, and then looked at his confidants. What's wrong? Director Zhao. Of the 3 participating mecha divisions, 2 are the granddaughters of Director Chen. Director Chen's granddaughter. Zhao Wei was stunned for a moment, but quickly realized who his confidant was talking about. Chen En, his mentor and the previous director of Hangzhou Law Enforcement Bureau. Since she is the teacher's granddaughter. So there is absolutely no problem with family background. He believed in the Chen family's family tradition. As long as he explained the seriousness of this matter, they would definitely not leak the news. What about the other person? Another person. A confidant hesitated. His messages were SSS level encrypted. Our bureau's authority cannot find it. Zhao Wei turned his head sharply. Keep an eye on the confidant. SSS level encryption. They Hangcheng. Are there still such people? As the director of Hangzhou Law Enforcement Bureau, Zhao Wei can be considered a person of status. He naturally knew that the so-called identity SSS level encryption existed. Even before the apocalypse system came, every country would have its own secrets. Either a person or a thing. In short, it exists. However, since he came to Hangzhou and took office, he really didn't know that there was such a person in Hangzhou. Think about it. Since the identity of this mecha master is SSS level encryption, this means that there cannot be any problems in his family history for several generations. As for the permission to decrypt SSS level files, it's not something that a director of the Hangzhou Law Enforcement Bureau can have. You can even say that, if he hadn't temporarily given director level authority when he sent his confidants to investigate the files, it's very possible that he didn't even know that the Mecha Master's information was SSS level encrypted, and instead directly displayed false identity information. Well, outside of SSS level encryption, what is the identity of that Mecha Master now? My current identity is that I am a senior student at Hangcheng No. 3 Middle School. My name is Su Yang. I have ranked first in the Hangcheng Senior High School entrance examination many times, winning the first place multiple times. He is indeed not a simple guy. Zhao Wei sighed. But think about it. How can someone who can be encrypted by SSS level be an ordinary person? Wait. Zhao Wei suddenly realized that something was wrong, and looked at his confidants in shock. You mean, this Su Yang is a senior in high school? Didn't he just complete his awakening yesterday? But, Zhao Wei pointed at the mutant in front of the 2 people. You heard what researcher Lin just said. The physical strength after mutation is comparable to that of a 3-star Mecha Master. How could he, a newly awakened mobile armor master, cut him in half with a single blow? The confidants were also stunned. Yes, he hadn't realized this just now. A newly awakened mobile armor master. Kill the mutant whose body is comparable to a 3-star Mecha Master with 1 strike. No matter how you look at this, there's something wrong, right? Bring me the surveillance camera at that time. Yes, 2 minutes later, after watching the street surveillance at that time. It really is. Chen Anan bombarded with energy light cannon. There's nothing wrong with the mutants. Su Yang slashed with 1 strike. Instant kill. What are these? The 2 of them stared at each other, not knowing what was going on. Finally, Zhao Wei let out a long sigh. Forget it, I guess this kid has a lot of secrets. You have also seen that he is a genius in his own right. No matter what happens to a genius, it is normal, right? Yeah, right. The confidant nodded thoughtfully. From now on, don't mention this kid's SSS level encryption to anyone, understand? Clear. The confidant nodded solemnly. As a member of the law enforcement department, he naturally knows the importance of SSS level ciphers to Daxia. If it is leaked out, not to mention foreign countries, just the evil forces in Daxia will be ready to take action. This was also the reason why he didn't dare to report the matter easily when other people were present. Now that the identity is clear, go through the necessary procedures, ask about the details at the time, sign a confidentiality agreement. And then that's it. This incident happened to them by chance. Don't let the children get involved. Yes, The confidant nodded and immediately went down to make arrangements. Law Enforcement Bureau. Just as Su-young expected. After arriving at the Law Enforcement Bureau, they were first asked about some details of the incident and then signed a corresponding confidentiality agreement. However, what made Su-young a little confused was that the law enforcement officers seemed to be a little too polite to sisters Chen Anan and Chen Loyan. Not only that, these two sisters seemed to be very familiar with the Law Enforcement Bureau. Even people they meet by chance will say hello to them. No, there's something weird about it. So after signing the confidentiality agreement and leaving the Law Enforcement Bureau, Su-young finally couldn't hold back the doubts in her heart and asked the two sisters, why are we so familiar with the enforcement agency? Maybe it's because my sister and I often played here when we were young. The answer given by Chen Anan made Su-young stunned for a while. When you were a child, you often played in the Law Enforcement Bureau. What does it mean? I bet you two sisters are outlaws. Seeing that Su-young didn't seem to understand what her sister meant, Chen Loyan beside her chuckled. That's right, our grandfather was the former director of the Law Enforcement Bureau. Some of the uncles and aunts in the bureau are all acquaintances from the past. Su-young, I see. It seems that I still underestimate these two sisters. With this kind of family background, the word, excellent, is not enough. After separating from sisters Chen Anan and Chen Loyan, Su-young resumed his mecha form and started to go home. While at the Law Enforcement Bureau, the interrogator's main focus was on asking the three people if there were any suspicious persons nearby at the time. He didn't pay much attention to the fact that a newly awakened mecha master killed the mutant. With his so-called special kendo skills, he managed to get through. Thinking, before I knew it, I had arrived home. This is located on the 3rd Ring Road of Hangzhou. Just a regular old apartment. Compared to sisters Chen Anan and Chen Loyan, their family background is much simpler. His father is an ordinary mecha master, and his mother is an ordinary researcher at the Abyss Research Institute. After the two people were unfortunately killed in the Abyss, the government issued a considerable pension, which guaranteed all their living and learning needs from childhood to high school. As for, will it be psychologically unbalanced? Of course not. In this era, everything should be earned by one's own strength. Now he indeed has a mecha master talent that is beyond ordinary people, and it also comes with a system. Then in the future, he is destined to be a man at the top of the world. Care about this. The layout is smaller. Imperial Capital. Abyss Research Institute. Director's Office. Director Luo Zhongong's face looked a little ugly. Just now, he received confidential information reported from the Hangcheng Research Institute. A mutant appeared in Hangzhou, suspected of taking some special medicine, and his body was transformed by the energy of the abyss. Biological modification driven by abyssal energy, this is an almost taboo topic. Once, the Abyss Institute has conducted similar research projects. But later, because the research was too sensitive, it was urgently stopped by the superiors. Now, Hangzhou, such a case has occurred. At present, there are foreign troubles, and there are also internal worries. These guys are a bunch of shit. Luo Zhongong cursed helplessly. This kind of thing is beyond his jurisdiction. He could only report it and see how the superiors would resolve it. Not even close. In a few days, the core compatibility of the mecha should be up to standard. In the room, Su-young retreated from the metaspace. Just now, he tried the advancement of the 3-star mecha master again. The combat strength test still meets the standards. Although the core fit of the mecha is not up to standard, it is obviously improved compared to the last time. According to Su-yang's own feeling, there shouldn't be much difference. If he waits a few more days, he should be able to reach the standard of a 3-star mecha master. 4 days have passed since the last accident. During these 4 days, the blockade caused by the last abyssal storm has been lifted. Su-young spent a lot of time hunting monsters in the abyss, gaining points and improving her strength. He even completed a task commission and obtained nearly 3,000 apocalypse points. At present, the apocalypse points owned by Su-young are 20.3 W. Among them, 200,000 should be reserved for purchasing advanced growth opportunities. There is no suitable opportunity to use the remaining 3,000 apocalypse points. It would be great if I could encounter high-level monsters again. Su Yang is looking forward to it. After 4 days, the charge of Yuan Nang nuclear sword has reached 11,231 10,000ths. Part of this energy is obtained by the Yuan Nang nuclear sword naturally absorbing the Yuan energy in the universe. Part of it is provided by Su Yang himself. However, during the process of supplying energy, Su Yang discovered something. That is, because his star rating is too low, the quality of his energy is also relatively low. Therefore, after supplying Yuan Nang nuclear sword, it will take a certain amount of time to convert it into effective charging. When the star level is upgraded and the energy quality is improved, it may be possible to achieve real-time energy charging and use the energy nuclear sword uninterrupted. Speaking of which, I'm going back to school tomorrow. In the joint entrance examination after returning to school, the reward for first place will be A-level accessories. I don't know what level of accessories it can be increased to this time. I'm really looking forward to it. A little preparation. Su Yang left home and headed towards the Abyss Authority. Today, Su Yang plans to enter the Abyss again for one last experience before returning to school. Abyss, first level. Su Yang's figure appeared again at temporary base No. 24. After coming here a few times, I am already familiar with it, and it is no longer as unfamiliar as the first time I came here. After confirming that a series of auxiliary props such as energy supplements were prepared, Su Yang left temporary base number 24 and headed towards a marked point on the map. Commissioned mission. The Gallbladder of Giant Sandworm. Task introduction. Take 5 gallbladders of giant sandworms. Task reward 2000 Apocalypse points. Access restriction 2-star Mecha Master. This is a task that Su Yang previously accepted on the commissioning platform of Tianqi system. Any Mecha Master connected to the Apocalypse system can issue commissioned tasks through this platform. The items commissioned for the task will be directly transferred to the publisher of the commission after being uploaded to the Apocalypse system. Apart from this real commission, government officials of various countries will also issue some welfare tasks. For example, the last mission that Sisters Chen Anan and Chen Luoyan took on was a welfare mission exclusive to new mobile armor masters. Anyway, the giant sandworm is a rare 2-star monster. Its habit is to hide in the sand and ambush, ready to appear at any time to attack its prey. In the northwest area of the first level of the Abyss, there is a vast desert terrain, in which many giant sandworms are hidden. It took about an hour or so. Su Yang entered the area. Looking at the vast expanse of sand, he turned on the life detection instrument. This is what Su Yang just spent 2000 Apocalypse points to buy in the temporary base. It can detect signs of life within 50 meters of itself. 5 minutes later, the life detection instrument sounded the first alarm. Su Yang thought, deliberately walked to the location marked by the life detection instrument. Almost instantly, the surface of the sand began to tremble slightly, and the sand grains began to flow away. Then, a huge figure emerged from under the sand. However, Su Yang had expected it. The energy flame acceleration device was turned on in advance. He opened the distance a second early. The attack failed. The giant sandworm screamed. The huge body twisted towards Su Yang again. 2-star monster giant sandworm. Kill points, 80 points. Attributes: speed under sand, 40 meters per second, above sand, 20 meters per second. Power, 500 kilograms. Ability: corrosive venom. Introduction: a top predator distributed in sandy areas, its huge mouth full of fine teeth can easily bite through steel plates, and the glands in its mouth can spit out corrosive acidic liquid. Recommendation: lure it to the ground and kill it with long-range attacks. Uploader: Mecha No. 2,631,384. Remote killing is always recommended. Among low-level Mecha Masters, long-range attacks are king. It would be perfect if the joint entrance examination reward was a long-range attack weapon. After saying this with emotion, Su Yang recovered instantly and entered combat mode. First, load the maximum power of the energy flame acceleration device and fly into the sky. When the giant sandworm rushed under him, he directly stabbed the Yuan Nang nuclear sword down. Jia! The giant sandworm let out a shrill scream. The brain area was punctured instantly. As the saying goes, know yourself and the enemy, and you can fight 100 battles without danger. Before coming here, Su Yong had carefully studied the body structure of giant sandworms. Therefore, he clearly knew that the real brain hidden behind the neck was their fatal weakness. Boom! The giant sandworm fell down. Su Yong fell back to the ground and began to peel off the sandworm gallbladder needed for the commissioned task. 4 hours later, Su Yong successfully collected 5 giant sandworm gallbladders. After uploading it to the Tianqi system, submit the entrusted task, and 2,000 Tianqi points will be credited to your account. Done. Su Yong left the task entrustment area with satisfaction and prepared to return. After driving at full speed for nearly an hour, we were about to arrive at temporary base No. 24. Suddenly, there was an extremely violent explosion from the front. The violent explosion and the sky-high fire made Su Yong stop temporarily. But then he looked up and saw a scene that made him a little confused. I saw the original location of temporary base No. 24. It has been reduced to ruins, and explosions are still ringing out one after another. This is temporary base exploded. What's happening here? No matter how good-hearted Su Yong is, he still can't calm down when he sees the temporary base exploded and turned into ruins. The temporary base in the abyss was built by Daxia officials. Not to mention who has the ability to blow it up, but just ask, who dares? At the very least, in the 18 years since Su Yong grew up, he had never heard of any news about an attack on a temporary base. Result: did you happen to meet him? At the same time, in the ruins of provisional base No. 24, a figure, step by step, walked towards a certain location in the ruins in the blazing fire. Tap. 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 There was no mecha covering his body. The extreme high temperature gradually began to carbonize his skin. But he seemed not to notice the pain. There was no look of pain on his face, but his eyes looked excitedly at the ground in front of him. He walked to that location, squatted down, and moved nearly half a ton of giant building debris away with his bare hands. Below that is the dazzling red mark, Z1 to 124. Really? The man's eyes became hotter and hotter. A crazy smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. He stretched out his hand and punched the ground with the number written on it, making a big hole in it. Then, he stretched out his hand and took out a small but exquisite mechanical box from the deep pit. Abyss stable box. This kind of thing turns out to really exist. Look at the mechanical box. The smile on the man's face became crazier. 4. Ascension. He lowered his head and murmured piously. Then, he exerted force with his right hand. The extremely exaggerated muscles instantly bulged and hardened hundreds of times. Click. The mechanical box in his hand shattered. At first, there was no reaction. But soon, an indescribable force. In an instant, with the mechanical box as the center, everything around it was swept away. Including the man and the surrounding wreckage of the temporary base, they were all destroyed and annihilated. This energy riot is still spreading crazily towards the outside at an extremely fast speed. Quote exclamation mark quote. Do not know why. Su Yong is looking at the ruins of the destroyed temporary base. Suddenly I sensed a premonition that something was extremely wrong. Almost an instinctive reaction. Full speed overload drive energy flame acceleration device. At the fastest speed, we opened the distance from the ruins of the number 24 temporary base. Call out. The moment Su Yong disappeared from the temporary base, with the mechanical box as the center, an unknown energy storm was released. It swept across in an instant, turning everything around it into nothingness silently. When this chaotic catastrophe ends, Su Yong looked at everything in front of him in shock. Centered on the original temporary base number 24, the area with a radius of nearly 10 kilometers turned into a chaotic void. There is no physical matter, no life, is truly, the abyss. Ding! Suddenly, news came from the communication system. Su Yong glanced at it and saw that it was official information from Hangzhou. Temporary base number 24 was attacked, and Hangzhou activated the highest alert state. All living personnel, go to the Z1 to 1 main base and accept investigation. Highest alert state. Su Yang's pupils narrowed. I originally just wanted to have one last abyss experience before returning to school, but I encountered such a weird thing. That void. What exactly is it? Could it be the original appearance of the abyss? Never mind. No matter how, it's better to go to the Z1-1 main base first. As for the rest, let's talk about it later. So thinking, Su Yang no longer hesitated, heading towards the Z1-1 main base hundreds of kilometers away at full speed. Hangzhou, Authority of the Abyss. Boom. Zheng Angguo slammed the table, his face turned pale. Just now, he got the message. Temporary base number 24 was attacked and turned into ruins. This is simply lawless. He has served as director for nearly 30 years. In the past 30 years, no one has ever been brave enough to attack the temporary base. Being able to build a temporary base means that this abyss has been completely explored. Those monsters scattered in the abyss are completely impossible to pose any threat to the temporary base. In this way, this sudden attack can only be man-made sabotage. A few minutes later, after my mood stabilized a little, Zheng Angguo contacted Director Zhao of the Hangcheng Law Enforcement Bureau. Since this matter is a man-made sabotage attack, the Law Enforcement Bureau will naturally be involved. In addition, he also reported the matter to the Abyss Jurisdiction General Administration in the Imperial Capital. Imperial Capital, General Administration of Abyss. Director Luo Zhongyong was originally worried about the Abyss transformation case in Hangzhou. As a result, after receiving the report from the Hangzhou branch, my heart suddenly went cold and I sat paralyzed in my seat. Now, there was only one thought in his mind. That was the target of this attack. Don't be Abyss stable box. The Hangcheng branch does not have enough authority and is unaware of the existence of the Abyss stable box. But he knew what this thing meant. If Luo Zhongyong swallowed and stood up immediately. He now needs to rush to the central government of Daxia immediately. This matter, if it is really related to the Abyss stable box, that's a big deal. Daxia, central government. Just like the heart is to the human body. This is the core area of Daxia. When Luo Zhongyong left the central government office, his expression softened, but his heart could not be calm for a long time. Just now, he had an interview with Mr. Zhou for nearly an hour and summarized and discussed the recent issues. First, due to the abnormality of the abyssal storm, the apostles of the abyss entered the shallow layer from the deep layer through the cracks in the abyss. Second, mutants appeared in Hangzhou. Their bodies were transformed through the energy of the abyss, and their bodies of flesh and blood were comparable to those of Mecha masters. Third, the number 24 temporary base on the first level of the abyss was attacked. It has now been confirmed that the Z1124 abyss stability box was damaged. A series of events that followed one after another, seemingly not directly related. But if you think about it deeply, you can find that there is definitely some connection behind several things. Although Mr. Zhou asked himself to focus on the research of Abyss Boundary for the time being, he would send people to solve other matters. But this kind of thing. How could I not think about it? Summer. As one of the 3 top powers in the world after the advent of the Mecha era. It looks impregnable on the outside, but in fact, it is definitely not as stable as it looks. Etc. These things. Will it have anything to do with other countries? Without the support of other countries, how could one organization or group dare to confront the entire Daxia? Thinking about this, Luo Zhongyong became more and more frightened. He didn't even realize that he had returned to the Abyss Jurisdiction General Administration. After returning to the office, after a while, there was a knock on the door. After getting permission, Yan walked in. Director. Luo Zhongyong concurrently serves as the director of the Abyss Administration and the director of the Abyss Research Institute. However, according to the habits of Yan and other researchers, they prefer to call him director. I would like to apply to go to the ruins of the number 24 provisional base. This is a good research opportunity. Hearing this, Luo Zhongyong did not answer for the time being. Yan, as the current leader of the younger generation of abyssal studies in Daxia. Among the 6 heads of the institute, he is the only one approved by the central government to participate in the research and development of the Abyss Stable Box project. Of course, although she was approved to participate in the Abyss Stable Box project, she learned more from the experience of the older generation of research leaders and had not personally made any Abyss Stable Box. The older generation Abyss stable box may have the potential to be improved. I have had several new ideas, so I would like to apply to participate in the reconstruction of the Z1-124 Abyss stable box. At the same time, the site of the original temporary base number 24 is now the transition edge between the Abyss and the stable environment. It is a good opportunity to study the boundary of the Abyss. So, please approve my application. After An Yan finished speaking, looked straight at Luo Zhongong. It looked like he had to agree even if he didn't agree. Seeing this, Luo Zhongong smiled bitterly. I've made progress this time. Before I do anything, I at least know how to apply. Okay, you can go to Hangzhou to investigate first. But the application to participate in the reconstruction of the Abyss stable box is not something I have said. You still need to apply to the central government. Okay, and Yan nodded sharply. Then he turned around and left the office. From the looks of it, he probably went directly to Hangzhou for a field trip. The first level of the Abyss. Z1-1 main base. After driving for a long time, Su Yong finally arrived at the main base. Compared with the temporary base, the scale of the main base is hundreds of times larger. From a distance, it looks like a magnificent mechanical fortress, standing in the Abyss. After verifying his identity and entering the main base, almost all the people Su Yong met along the way were talking about the attack on temporary base No. 24. If nothing else, this news should have exploded in the main world. At the same time, due to this sabotage attack, the passage back to the main world was temporarily closed. You should have to wait until people from the Law Enforcement Bureau come to check everyone's identities before you can return to the main world. Tomorrow is the joint entrance examination. Hopefully it can be done by tomorrow. Su Yong sighed. If because of such an unreasonable disaster, I am unable to participate in the joint examination and thus miss out on the reward of ranking first in the joint examination, it will be a big loss. Because what he missed was not a great accessory. But it is very likely that it is an invincible SSS level accessory. After an hour, the people from the Law Enforcement Bureau came to the Z1-1 main base through the transmission channel. The most advanced polygraph device and various auxiliary devices are used to check whether the corresponding personnel are related to this sabotage attack. However, this kind of detection takes a very long time. Looking at the long queue in front of him with no end in sight, Su Yong felt like crying. At this rate, I might really miss the joint entrance exam. However, just at this time, a beautiful figure suddenly stopped when passing by Su Yong. The one who stops is no one else. It was An Yan, who had just arrived at the Z1-1 main base and planned to go to the ruins of the number 24 temporary base. Just now, she happened to see Su Yong and stopped. Because he also has the identity of Abyssal Selection Officer. Therefore, she had some knowledge of the examinations in Hangzhou. If I remember correctly, tomorrow, it seems to be the first joint examination for students in Hangzhou after awakening to Mecha. Thinking of this, she glanced at the long queue in front of Su Yong and frowned slightly. After thinking for a while, he opened the communication system and sent a message. After sending is completed, he didn't speak, but walked away under Su Yang's confused eyes. To be honest, the last time we met, An Yan didn't take off her mecha. So Su Yong actually had no idea who the aloof beauty who just stood in front of him was. However, less than a minute after An Yan left, a broadcast sounded in the main base. All students in Hangzhou, please go to Gate A1 and queue up as soon as possible to get tested first. Well, that woman, there seems to be something. Listening to the radio broadcast at the main base, Su Yong thought as he walked towards the designated queue entrance. But there is a problem. I can be sure that I have never seen that woman. If her appearance is up to her level, she will definitely be remembered at first sight. If that's the case, why does she know her identity as a student? Next, the inspector's prompt sounded. Very few high school seniors would choose to come to the Abyss to experience after awakening the Mecha, so it was Su Yang's turn soon. After cooperating with law enforcement officers and conducting a series of lie detections, Su Yong finally entered the passage back to the main world and left the Abyss. Back to school day. 7 days have passed since the National Unified Awakening Day. During these 7 days, students who failed to awaken are planning their future. Although it is indeed a pity not to become a Mecha Master, it does not mean that there is no future. In addition to Mecha Masters, the country and society also need various other professionals. Even many scholars and researchers in universities and research institutes who specialize in studying Mecha and Abyss are not Mecha Masters themselves. In short, there are many options for the future. But, for those students who have successfully awakened, during these 7 days, there was only one thing in their eyes. That is to become familiar with mechas, combine various theoretical courses, and maximize your own strength, so as to obtain a better ranking in the joint examination after returning to school. You know, in the joint examinations of major provinces and cities, the rewards are quite rich. For example, this time the Hangzhou Joint Entrance Examination. The first place reward is a grade A accessory. The second to 5th place is a B level accessory. The 6th to 20th place will get a C level accessory. For those Mecha Masters with average talents and relatively ordinary family conditions when they awaken, this is the most important opportunity in the initial stage of a Mecha Master's career. Hangcheng Number 3 Middle School. Su Yang arrived at school. At this time, he was completely the focus of the school. No matter where he goes, he will be looked at with envy and adoration. Especially the junior school girls looked at Su Yang with stars in their eyes. Because today is the joint entrance examination day. The school specially gave holidays to the first and second grade students. Let them observe the joint entrance examination of senior high school students to boost their fighting spirit. The joint examination venue is the Mecha training area located on the outskirts of Hangzhou. The Mecha training area covers an area of hundreds of square kilometers. It was built by Hangzhou officials and specially provided for Mecha divisions to train. There are a total of 12 high schools in Hangzhou, and there are a total of 2,000 Mecha Masters who have successfully awakened this time. These 2,000 Mecha Masters departed from their respective schools, took special transport vehicles, and arrived at the Mecha training area. As for the first and second grade students, they are in their respective classes, watching the real-time broadcast of the joint entrance examination. Mecha training area. Each school has its own area for examinations. In the test-taking area of Hangcheng Number 3 Middle School, Su Yang stood among the crowd, closing her eyes and relaxing. In a little while, the joint entrance examination will begin. According to the previous joint examination rules, the joint examination is divided into 2 parts, the Mecha Performance Test and the Mecha Core Fit Test. The former, as the name suggests, tests the maximum speed, maximum strength and other data of the mecha. Then through these data, we can get the average increase of each level of mecha. The latter is very simple, simply testing the core fit of the mecha. Speaking of which, on this morning, Su Yang tried the promotion test again. The final result is, promotion test passed. Just 7 days. Su Yang's mecha core fit. It has reached the standard of a 3-star Mecha Master. Such a terrifying talent is one of a kind. Before returning to school, Su Yang specifically checked Hangzhou's joint entrance examination records over the past century. In the first joint examination after awakening the mecha, the highest record was only a 2-star compatibility. So, today's joint entrance examination. This record will be broken. Become the center of attention. As for performance testing, Su Yang plans to show the data of the 2-star Mecha Master. Otherwise, it would be too terrifying to show the data of 3-star Mecha Masters. After all, the experience required to advance a companion mecha to 3 stars cannot be achieved in just 7 days. This is an exaggeration. I also did it with the 200,000 experience gained from killing Apostle of the Abyss, so there is no need to show off too much. As for whether it will be discovered, there is no need to consider it. The ring of light, which symbolizes the level of the Mecha Master, can be actively chosen to hide. As for the performance of the mecha, no one can know for sure if the Mecha Master is not willing. The joint entrance examination begins. Starting from Hangcheng Number 1 Middle School. All Mecha Masters, in order of number, will be divided into groups of 10. They will first conduct a Mecha Performance Test, and then conduct a Mecha Core Fit Test. In Hangcheng Number 1 Middle School, the frontrunners are undoubtedly the 2 sisters Chen Anan and Chen Loyan. After not seeing each other for a few days, the 2 mechas have actually reached level 10. Both are upgraded from LV.0 to LV.10, and the improved performance is as follows. Sister Chen Anon. Maximum strength 180 kg, closed double angle bracket 260 kg. Strength performance increase at each level 8.0 kg. Maximum speed 18 meters per second to 25 meters per second. Speed performance increase at each level 0.7 meters per second. Sister Chen Loyan. Maximum strength 175 kg, closed double angle bracket 265 kg. Strength performance increase at each level 9.0 kg. Maximum speed 18 meters per second to 26 meters per second. Speed performance increase at each level 0.8 meters per second. The test data of the two caused a sensation in the audience. It's only been 7 days, but they're already level 10. Is the gap between people so big? I'm only level 2. Level 2 is indeed a bit lagging, brother, I'm already at level 3. Let's not talk about the level. Look at the increase of the two sisters, it's too exaggerated. It's almost reaching the maximum increase. Genius sisters, oh, it would be great if you could like me. Want to eat shit? Who's peeing yellow? Let me wake him up. Mecha training ground. The Mecha masters from the entire senior high school class in Hangzhou. Looking at the data of sisters Chen Anon and Chen Loyan displayed on the central holographic projection, I couldn't help but be envious. The gap between different people who are both Mecha masters is so huge. Don't look at it now, it may be only a few tens of kilograms or a few meters per second. But as the Mecha master level increases, this gap will be magnified without limit. In the end, the difference in mecha performance among mecha masters of the same level may be several times, or even more than 10 times. The performance of the mecha is the main expression of the core strength of the mecha. The same accessory is driven by mecha cores of different strengths, and the effects are naturally very different. For example, the energy light cannon driven by Chen Anon is definitely more powerful than the energy light cannon driven by an ordinary LV.10 mecha master. This is the gap in talent. Of course, except for the high school senior mecha masters present. In major high schools, freshmen and sophomores in high school are watching the broadcast of the joint entrance examination. Looking at the luxurious statistics of sisters Chen Loyan and Chen Anon on the big screen, they were all envious. Even if you have such good looks, your talent is still so good. These two seniors are truly goddess-level figures. I don't know which mecha university they will go to in the end. If they could, they'd want to tag along too. Senior sister, wait for me. Mecha training area. Hangcheng number 1 middle school examination waiting area. The principal of No. 1 middle school had a smile on his face. He has always seen the excellence of sisters Chen Loyan and Chen Anon. Raising it to LV.10 is very powerful, but combined with the family background resources of the two sisters, it is not a big deal. What really pleased him was the talents of the two sisters. Such a terrifying talent. If nothing else happens, is it possible to defeat the monster in number 3? Thinking of that guy, the principal of No. 1 middle school felt a little headache. Every time the Hangcheng joint entrance examination was held, that monster was firmly ranked first. Sisters Chen Loyan and Chen Anon were always outclassed by him. But now, the results in theoretical classes are already a thing of the past. After becoming a mecha master, mecha talents such as mecha performance and mecha core fit are the best proof of a genius. Next, it's time to test the mecha core fit. I believe that the two of them will not disappoint him. Under the spotlight, sisters Chen Loyan and Chen Anon began the second test, the mecha core fit test. As for the other 8 people in the same group as them, they were simply ignored by everyone. When the goddess is here, who cares about other people? As Chen Loyan and Chen Anon walked into the mecha core fit test chamber respectively. After 3 minutes, the test cabin will give the two people's mecha core fit data. Tester, Chen Loyan, mecha core fit test score, 1 star 94%. Tester, Chen Anon, mecha core fit test score, 1 star 92%. Hiss. 3 minutes passed. As the central holographic screen displayed the test results of the two people, everyone present took a breath. 1 star 94%. 1 star 92%. This means that there is only one step between the two of them, and the core compatibility of the mecha can reach 2 stars, thus being promoted to a 2-star mecha master. What is this concept? It has only been 7 days since awakening. In 7 days, from just awakening to being promoted to a 2-star mecha master. What is this if not genius? On the waiting area. The principal of No. 1 Middle School. At this time, I was already happy. Good guy, he really didn't disappoint. According to this progress, it is estimated that in 2 or 3 days, the 2 sisters will be promoted to 2-star mecha masters. This kind of talent, looking at the entire history of Hangzhou, it is quite amazing. Genius, a real genius. If nothing else happens. After a while, it will be time for the big exam. They are the only ones to dominate the limelight in Hangzhou. In the eyes of everyone's shock, admiration and admiration. Sisters Chen Luoyan and Chen Anan left the testing area together and returned to the waiting area. After accepting the congratulations from the principal, teachers and others, the two returned to their respective positions and opened the communication system. The examination waiting area of Hengcheng No. 3 Middle School. Su Yang's eyes were calm and there was a smile on his lips. These 2 sisters are really geniuses. LV.10, nearly top-level performance increase, and about to reach 2-star mecha core compatibility. No matter from which aspect you look at it, it's so good that you can't fault it. All I can say is that he is worthy of being a genius who is always ranked behind him. Pity. Cough cough cough. There are people outside people, and there are mountains outside mountains. Today's number 1, he is Su Yang. Ding, ding. Suddenly, 2 messages came from the communication system. Su Yang glanced at. It turned out to be from 2 sisters. Chen Anan, come on. I believe you will still be the first. Happy. Chen Luoyan, come on. My sister Chen Anan is still cute and full of energy. Sister Chen Luoyan is more aloof. But, I won't let you down. An hour later, finally, it was the turn of the students from No. 3 Middle School to start the test. At this moment, everyone's eyes were cast on a person in the crowd of No. 3 Middle School. He is the genius monster who beats the 2 sisters Chen Luoyan and Chen Anan in every joint entrance examination and takes the first place. She is the 3rd lieutenant colonel with good looks that beats all the stars. Now, after awakening, can he continue the legend, surpass the 2 sisters Chen Anan and Chen Luoyan, and continue to remain first? This is a problem, a rather exciting question. In this expectation, students from No. 3 Middle School formed groups of 10 and started the test. After another half an hour, finally, Su Yang's 10-person team started testing. Tester, Su Yang, Mecha Performance Test, begin. As the tester's alarm sounded, everyone is highly concentrated, for fear of missing any second. This is a real moment to watch. So handsome. As this Su Yang, the high school student of No. 3 Middle School, every time the results of the joint entrance examination are announced, he is ranked first. He is handsome and a very talented mecha master. I feel like he is the perfect male god. Why is it that our school's school hunk is so different from Su Yang, who is both a school hunk? In the waiting area, several girls whispered to each other. Looking at Su Yang projected on the central holographic screen, her face turned red and her heart beat. Next to me, the boy who usually has a crush on one of the girls was a little unconvinced. No matter how good his grades were before, it was still in the past. There was no awakened mecha at that time, so everything was illusory. If you have the ability to continue to be number 1 after awakening, I will obey you. Hear the words. One of the girls looked at him funny. What do you mean you just obey him? Does Su Yang need your service? The boy was speechless for a moment. But I don't know how to refute it. I could only turn my head away in anger, looking at Su Yang's handsome face on the holographic projection. The more I thought about it, the angrier I became. Snort. Don't just be a nerd with theoretical knowledge. Test area. Su Yang's eyes were calm and there was a smile on her lips. Young people need to be high-spirited and attract the attention of thousands of people. What's the point of living a life that hides one's head and shows one's tail, only knowing how to hide one's strength? Thinking of this, he took a step forward. The mecha was summoned by a flash of thought. Cover the whole body. Ready to go. Test it out. First item, speed test. With the announcement of testers, Su Yang's group of 10 people lined up on their respective runways. Then concentrate on it, and when that start gunshot sounds, immediately load the mecha's maximum speed and sprint with all your strength. To be honest, in a group of 10 people, originally, since they were all new mecha masters who had just awakened, the gap in mecha performance was small. When sprinting at full speed, the gap actually does not appear to be particularly large. For example, in the first few groups, after sprinting, the line connecting several people was almost a diagonal line with a not too large inclination. But it's different now. Before everyone could react, a figure has left the others far behind. What a speed! Everyone was stunned for a moment. I saw that the gap between the figure at the front and the rest of the group was getting wider and wider. Tap. The area to be tested in No. 3 Middle School. The principal of No. 3 Middle School had a face full of shock. He couldn't stand still at all. He stomped back a few steps before he regained his balance. This speed, it is definitely not something that a 1-star mecha master can achieve. Su Yang this is promoted to a 2-star mecha master. How is this possible? It's only been 7 days since awakening. In this shock, Su Yang sprinted directly across the finish line. His results were directly uploaded to the central holographic projection screen by the testing equipment at the finish line. Tester. Su Yang, speed test result, 35 meters per second. Boom. The moment the results appear, whether students or teachers, the entire audience was silent. Everyone looked at the results on the holographic projection with shock on their faces, and there was only one question in their minds: is this result true? 35 meters per second. When the accompanying mecha first awakens, its upper speed limit is 20 meters per second. At the 1-star stage, the maximum growth rate for each level is 1 meter per second. This means that even if a mecha master reaches the highest level of 1 star, level 10, the maximum speed limit is only 30 meters per second. Therefore, a terrifying result of 35 meters per second. This means that Su Yang has surpassed the 1-star mecha master and successfully been promoted to the 2-star mecha master. God Su. Su Shen is awesome. Su Yang, I like you. Su Shen is so cruel. He is simply a monster. Ha 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 ha, I knew that God Su was so strong before he awakened. After he awakens, he will definitely not be any worse. Number 3 Middle School Examination Waiting Area. The students burst into cheers. It's just that a certain girl's courageous words of confession were mixed in. Of course, no one heard it. Except for the students of Number 3 Middle School. The students from other schools were also shocked at this time. Monsters, have they always been monsters? Before awakening, he always ranked first. After awakening, can it not be surpassed by others? Number 1 Middle School Examination Waiting Area. Chen Anan blinked and looked at the results on the holographic projection, feeling extremely shocked. She originally thought that it was pretty good that she and her sister could reach level 10 in 7 days and immediately reach the 2-star level of compatibility. Result: Su Yang is always able to create such surprises for people. Has he actually been promoted to a 2-star mecha master 1 step ahead of schedule? Suddenly, display on the big screen. From Su Yang's speed test results, it is transformed into Su Yang's real-time projection. It can be seen that the director of the joint entrance examination is very sensible. I know what everyone wants to see now. An extremely handsome face. A deep and distant gaze. That achievement that attracted everyone's attention. Everything is the best look of a perfect boy in a girl's fantasy. Instantly, a burst of screams erupted in the mecha testing area. Mainly from fangirls who were already overflowing with nymphomaniacs. At the same time, Chen Anan's cheeks suddenly turned red. Even Chen Luoyan had to admit it at this time. That dazzling young man is really hard to look away from. Follow-up. Su Yang conducted another strength test. The result of the test is 340 kilograms. It is also at the level of a 2-star mecha master. With the surprise from the previous speed test, when the results of the strength test appeared, everyone's reaction was relatively calm. Now they just want to continue to know. Su Yang's Mecha Core Fit Test. What will it be like? Compared with the performance of the Mecha, the core fit of the mecha is a more important talent for the mecha master. Because the most critical factor restricting the promotion of a mecha master is the compatibility with the core of the mecha. If the fit is not up to standard, you will not be promoted even if your combat power reaches the promotion standard. So, the mecha is powerful, does it count as a genius? Yes, of course. In the same level, the stronger the performance of the mecha, the stronger the mecha master's combat power. But, if the mecha core fit talent is higher, it means that you can be promoted to a higher level mecha master. High-level mecha masters versus low-level mecha masters, no matter how powerful your mecha is, it's all in vain. So, what can really explain the ultimate talent of a mecha master is the core compatibility of the mecha. Sisters Chen Anan and Chen Luoyan currently have a 1-star mecha core compatibility of over 90%. This is already quite a superior talent condition. Now, it depends on whether Su Yang can surpass them in this test. Mecha core fit test begins. Tester: Su Yang. With Su Yang's group of 10 mechas, the performance test was completed. The much anticipated mecha core fit test has officially begun. Everyone's eyes were focused on Su Yang, who stepped into the test cabin, holding their breath and looking forward to. Time passed little by little. Finally, the 3-minute test time is over. Su Yang's test results were also simultaneously broadcast on the holographic projection screen. This moment, the entire mecha testing area fell into a long silence. Only the mechanical voice broadcast repeated in everyone's ears. Tester: Su Yang. Mecha core fit test score, 3 stars 2%. Waiting for seats. The eyes of countless people were shocked and speechless. Each of them reached out and rubbed their eyes. I wanted to see if I was mistaken because I was too excited. However, the test result on the holographic screen will not change, it is still Samsung 2%. This time, everyone finally realized what is called top genius. Samsung, Samsung, Samsung. 2 sisters, Chen Luoyan and Chen Anan. The core compatibility of the mecha has reached more than 90% of 1 star, and he is already regarded as a genius by everyone. Now, Su Yang's mecha core compatibility is so exaggerated that it has directly surpassed 2 stars and directly reached 3 stars. Exaggerate. Extremely exaggerated. You know, how long has it been since the Day of Awakening? Only 7 days. What can you do in 7 days? 99% of people are just getting familiar with the newly awakened companion mecha. Some people are even unable to feel the existence of the mecha core, and the compatibility is only about 20% for 1 star and 30% for 1 star. However, Su Yang has achieved 3-star fitness. This can no longer be described with the word genius. This is a monster, a genius beyond everyone's knowledge. Su Shen, Su Shen, Su Shen, Su Shen. This moment, it's not just the test waiting area for No. 3 middle school. Instead, students from all schools in the entire mecha testing area were chanting Su Yang's name. The principal of No. 3 middle school was so excited that he almost fainted. In the entire Hangzhou city, the most talented mecha master in history had a 2-star compatibility of 82% in the first joint examination after awakening. He remembers it clearly. Don't look at the 2-star rating of 82% and the 3-star rating of 2%. There seems to be only a 20% difference. In fact, this is the insurmountable qualitative difference between 3 stars and 2 stars. This means that as long as Su Yang upgrades his level, he can be promoted to a 3-star mecha master without any obstacles. Number 1 middle school examination waiting area. Just now I was trying to argue that Su Yang was just a boy who was strong before awakening, but not necessarily strong after awakening. At this time, my face was full of shame, and I was almost ashamed. The mecha performance of the 2-star mecha master. The core fit of the 3-star mecha master. The answer sheet Su Yang gave during the joint entrance examination is simply the best portrayal of a peerless genius. Who is he? Su Yang still needs him to serve. No need at all. Just stand there. The whole audience should be shocked and cheered for him. Those girls originally wanted to mock him. But in the end I thought about it. If you have this time, wouldn't it be good to take one more look at Su Yang's handsome face? Amazing. When the results of Su Yang's mecha core fit test were announced, Chen Anan directly transformed into Su Yang's little fan girl. She originally thought that she and her sister were already powerful enough. Unexpectedly, Su Yang directly gave them a dimensionality reduction blow. However, while she was happy for Su Yang's excellent talent, she also looked at her sister Chen Luoyan next to her with some disappointment. Sister, how do I feel that we may have to be in two different worlds from Su Yang? Chen Luoyan at this time. I just recovered from the shock brought by Su Yang. I heard my sister's slightly disappointed words. After thinking for a while, she smiled softly. He rubbed his sister's little head. There is a difference between genius and genius. People like Su Yang are destined to be at the top of the world in the future. Even though we may be going slower than him on our way to the top of the world. But if you are confident, maybe we can meet at the top. That makes sense. Chen Anan's eyes suddenly lit up. Yes, Su Yang is a genius. She and her sister are also considered geniuses. Even if he's not as good as Su Yang. But if he works hard, he might be able to follow him. That's all. Looking at the young man's profile on the holographic screen, Chen Anan's heart was filled with the determination to work hard to become stronger. Mecha testing area. Somewhere, a special reserved area. After detecting the ruins data of number 24 temporary base, and Yan had just returned to the main world from the abyss. Look at the young man's figure on the central holographic projection screen. And the test data that can be called a monster no matter which core city in Daxia, eyes flashing. Is it compatible with the core of Samsung Mecha? And Yan's eyes showed some deep thought. This result is even better than what she did back then. In the high school she attended in the imperial capital, during the first joint entrance examination after awakening, her Mecha core compatibility was 2-star 97%. Although it is very close to Samsung, it has not yet reached Samsung. But nevertheless, she was already one of the top 3 most talented Mecha masters in the imperial capital that year. Now, Su Yang's 3-star score of 2%. Not to mention being placed in Hangzhou, even in a place like the imperial capital where geniuses gather, it is enough to rank first. Before awakening, I ranked first in the theoretical entrance examination many times. After awakening, I still ranked first in the Mecha talent joint examination. With such a talent, how could it be possible that there was no energy allocated to escape the abyssal storm? And Yan was a little confused. Logically speaking, any good Mecha master should know this. Unless you encounter a life or death crisis, you must leave some energy to deal with possible changes. Never mind, don't think about it. Nowadays, he also serves as the selector of Mianyueng in Jiangsu and Zhejiang provinces. This young man named Su Yang is quite outstanding. The theoretical course score ranked first. It shows that his IQ and learning ability are extremely excellent. The 1 in a million Mecha talent. It means that he can become a powerful Mecha master in the future. The 2 selection criteria for Abyssal 1 are quite consistent. The rest is the Abyss phase test. As long as it passes and he is willing, I should choose him and become a member of the first generation of Abyssal ones. But the test for Abyssal aspect needs to wait until the national exam. Hope you don't disappoint her. After the test is completed, Su Yang left the testing area and returned to the examination waiting area of number 3 middle school. What greeted him was the crazy admiration of everyone. You can say that anyone present, they didn't feel jealous of Su Yang at all. Because jealousy only occurs between 2 people who are not very different from each other. For example, someone who is in the 30th grade may be jealous of someone who is in the 20th grade. However, when the gap between the 2 reached a completely insurmountable gap, the jealousy disappeared, and what was left was pure admiration. Good boy, you didn't disappoint me. After returning to the class position, Lao Wang, the head teacher, he patted Su Yang's shoulder excitedly. The smile on his face felt more comfortable than ever before. After the Mecha was damaged, he plunged into the pit of education. He devoted himself to teaching and devoted himself wholeheartedly, hoping to cultivate more outstanding talents for Daxia. It can be said that he has expectations for Su Yang, and the expectations are quite strong. He believes that Su Yang will definitely become the top Mecha master in Daxia in the future. But Su Yang gave him the answer sheet. Even exceeded his expectations. Such a talent, more than just Daxia's top Mecha master. I'm afraid there is hope for becoming the strongest in Daxia, right? You should have won the first place in the joint entrance examination this time. I heard that you can choose the rewards for this joint entrance examination yourself. Since you drew an A-level energy light sword when you awakened, I suggest you choose a long-range attack weapon this time. Choose independently. This is great. Su Yang's eyes suddenly lit up. What he wants most now is a long-range attack weapon. A-level long-range attack weapons. Through advanced amplification, it would be great if the amplification could reach SSS level. Follow-up testing. It can be said to be unremarkable. Occasionally, a few eye-catching ones pop up, but they can no longer arouse everyone's excitement. There is no other reason. Sisters Chen Luoyan and Chen Anan are in front of them, and Su Yang, who directly broke the historical record in Hangzhou and can be called a terrifying monster, is there. Among the others, no matter how talented you are, who among the three can you compare with? So, that's it. Finally, it's almost afternoon. The joint entrance examination is over, and all students from all 12 middle schools in Hangzhou have completed the test. After data uploading and sorting, the comprehensive ranking of this joint examination was given in less than a minute. Mecha performance scores account for 40%, and core fit scores account for 60%. Final ranking. The Su Yang fault ranks first. Chen Anan and Chen Luoyan were second and third respectively. The rest, the fourth and fifth place, are from Hangcheng No. 2 Middle School and Hangcheng No. 6 Middle School respectively. Follow the rules of the joint examination. The first place will get a grade A accessory. The second to fifth place can get a B level accessory. Ranking 6th to 20th will receive a C level accessory. In order to stimulate the students' fighting spirit, the awarding of awards was completed directly on site. The first to take the stage to receive the award. Naturally, it was Su Yang, who ranked first in the joint entrance examination. Off the field, there was a sea of cheers and eyes, and everyone was extremely envious. On the podium, awarded, it's Director Hao from the Mecha Education Department in Hangzhou. Here's a list of rewards, you can pick one of your own. Director Hao smiled and handed the holographic tablet in his hand to Su Yang, waiting for his decision. Such a monster appeared in Hangzhou this year. As the director of the Ministry of Education, his face will light up during meetings and he will naturally be in a good mood. Okay, thank you, Director. Su Yang politely took the tablet list and started picking. A few minutes later, in the category of long-range weapons, I selected the reward I wanted, Grade A Long-Range Weapon Energy Cutting Beam. This is an energy laser-type long-range weapon. Although it consumes a lot of energy, its power is equally amazing. More importantly, its cutting ability often works wonders when facing enemies. Okay, wait, Director Hao nodded. To use the permission, a series of numbered keys were entered on the item transmission device arranged in advance. Soon, the extremely precious Class A energy cutting beam was transmitted from the official collection parts warehouse in Hangzhou. In front of everyone, Director Hao announced Su Yang's first place in the joint entrance examination, and then presented the A-level energy cutting beam to Su Yang as a reward. After returning to the examination waiting area, Su Yang first received a lot of congratulations from everyone. Then he found a quiet spot and closed his eyes to relax. When everyone saw this, they didn't bother him. Position. Su Yang took a deep breath. The panel of the Million Amplifier system was brought up. System. Purchase advanced amplification drawing opportunities. Spend 200,000 Apocalypse points to purchase advanced amplification drawing opportunities. The advanced amplification opportunity is being drawn. The draw was successful. Obtain 10,000 times increase. Out again. The maximum upper limit of advanced growth is 10,000 times. My luck is so good. Suppress your inner excitement. Su Yang chose Level A Energy Cutting Beam and started to increase the power. Chapter 31. Class A Energy Cutting Beam is increasing. Class A Energy Cutting Beam close double angle bracket 10,000 times increase close double angle bracket SSS Class Magnetic Storm Orbital Ray. As the system prompts, successful increase of 10,000 times. Magnetic Storm, Orbital Ray. Sounds like a bit awesome. Su Yang was stunned for a moment, then eagerly opened the SSS Level Magnetic Storm Orbital Ray panel. SSS Level Magnetic Storm Orbital Ray. Energy Level 8. Consumption 10,000 units per second. Features chaotic magnetic storm coverage. Chaotic magnetic storm coverage generates a chaotic magnetic storm field within a 500-meter radius of the attack target, causing energy to run disorderly for 3 minutes. An 8th-level long-range energy ray weapon. In terms of power, it is almost the same as the Yuan-Nang nuclear weapon sword. But it also has an extremely terrifying weapon characteristic. It can generate a chaotic magnetic storm field that is enough to disrupt the energy movement within a 500-meter radius of the attack target. Once this chaotic magnetic storm field is generated, it can last for a full 3 minutes. To know whether it's a mech or a monster, in the final analysis, they are all users of energy. If you are in a chaotic magnetic storm field, the operation of the energy circuit is greatly disturbed, unless the opponent is strong enough to quickly shield and restore the chaotic magnetic storm field. Otherwise, equivalent to all weapons, devices, accessories, and abilities within the magnetic storm field, all will be weakened or even completely disabled. Therefore, this SSS-level magnetic storm orbital ray is not only a terrifyingly powerful long-range killer weapon, it is also a very powerful auxiliary weapon in terms of functionality. Faced with mid to low-level opponents, they will probably die as soon as they fire the line, and the effects of chaotic magnetic storms will not be needed. But when facing high-level opponents, this chaotic magnetic storm field that can interfere with energy operation will definitely play an unexpected role. Su Yang's eyes sparkled, quite satisfied with the increase effect this time. Without thinking, he directly installed the magnetic storm orbital ray launcher on the right arm of the mecha. This move attracted the envious looks of countless students around him. In their eyes, this is a Class A energy-cutting beam. But in fact, this is after startup, the ultimate weapon capable of releasing a ray of destruction. As for energy consumption, after being promoted to a 3-star mecha division, the remaining 150,000 experience previously consumed 100,000, allowing Su Yang to directly upgrade to LV.30. Therefore, the core energy reserve of the mecha has been successfully increased from 5,000 units at LV.20 to 10,000 units. Now, Su Yang consumes all the energy reserves and can use magnetic storm orbital ray or energy nuclear sword for 1 second. This 1 second is completely enough. After Su Yang, 2nd to 5th place, they went on stage separately and received their awards. The reward for 4 people is a B-grade accessory of their choice. B-level accessories are nothing to sisters Chen Luoyan and Chen Anan. After all, their mechas now have several B-level accessories. For them, this is more of a symbol of honor. As for the rest of the people, that was naturally a joy. B-level accessories require at least 10,000 Tianqi points. For new mobile armor masters like them from ordinary families, this is not a small amount. Soon, the awards ceremony is over. Everyone took the transportation vehicles they came from and returned to their respective schools. Hengcheng No. 3 Middle School. When the back-to-school vehicles slowly drove into the school, both sides of the driveway were filled with first and second-year high school students. Now, they have completely transformed into fans, and they want to see Su Yang's true face. It's not their fault. They were able to achieve the first place in the city's joint examination and break the historical record. What a legend this is. Facing this scene, not only did the school not stop it, instead, he happily pulled up a banner in front of the school gate. Warmly congratulate Su Yang, a student from our school, who won the first place in the joint entrance examination. Warmly congratulate Su Yang, a student from our school, for breaking the Hangzhou record. Anyway, that style, even Su Yang himself felt it was a bit exaggerated. After finally returning to class, I was finally able to breathe a sigh of relief. On the podium, the smile on the face of the head teacher Lao Wang never stopped. Classmates, the joint entrance exam is now over. It doesn't matter what grades you got in the joint entrance examination. The next step is a new beginning. You have 1 month to prepare for the next national exam. This big test is related to what kind of Mecha university you can enter. Compared with the joint entrance examination, the national major examination has an additional practical assessment. So in the next month, all students who have successfully awakened, the main location of classes will be moved from the school to the abyss. In the abyss, you will learn how a real mecha master should fight. Quote. On the seat, Su Yang was distracted while listening. In the next month, it seems that fighting will be inevitable. However, if you follow the school curriculum, hunting targets in combat is probably quite boring. It would be great if we could meet the last opportunity again and a high-level monster appeared and give ourselves a try on the magnetic storm rail cannon. The pleasure of gaining hundreds of thousands of points at once is simply mind-blowing. Etc. Su Yang suddenly realized a problem. If you cannot encounter high-level monsters in shallow abyss, can I take the initiative, go to the deep abyss, and hunt high-level monsters by myself? No, it can't be done. This idea was quickly rejected by Su Yang. Now he is just a 3-star mecha master. If you enter a deep abyss, you may soon be affected by the erosion of the abyss. Not to mention, his current energy reserve only supports him to use energy nuclear sword or magnetic storm orbital ray for 1 second. Even 1 second is enough to instantly kill a monster below 8 stars. But what about another monster coming this time? None of them need to be high-star monsters. Just needs to be a 4-star monster. You can kill yourself. It's better to be steady. To stabilize development, there is a system. Sooner or later, my whole body will be SSS level. Why pursue speed? Authority of the Abyss. Abyss Transmission Channel. A group of students are queuing up to pass the test and enter the Abyss. The inspections for entering the Abyss are much stricter than before. That's right, we're not those brainless guys. They don't know why they attack the temporary base. What's the benefit? I don't know what they are thinking, but I guess it won't be long before I'm caught by the Law Enforcement Bureau, right? Probably. Come on, it's your turn. Oh. Distance to the joint entrance examination. 2 days have passed. As Lao Wang said, after the joint entrance examination, in order to prepare for the national exam, the school specially set aside 3 days a week for practical courses in the Abyss. As the name suggests, it is to enter the Abyss. Conduct actual combat training with monsters in the Abyss. Ding, the test passed. Testing completed. The entire class gathered together and entered the Abyss transmission channel in batches. Since temporary base number 24 was destroyed and had not yet been rebuilt, everyone arrived at temporary base No. 25. Students, I will divide into groups first. There are 61 people in the class. A group of 3 people, divided into 20 groups. Su Yang, alone. Everyone in the class let out a cry. Originally, they were still thinking how great it would be if they were lucky enough to be in a group with Su Yang. With Su Shen's thigh hugging him, wouldn't it be easy to complete actual combat tasks? But think about it later. Su Yang is not on the same level as them now. If he teamed up with weaklings like them, how could Su Yang gain experience? The place we are going to later is located in an area 131 kilometers away. It has been marked on your map. Each group must hunt down at least 6 1-star monsters and complete the shooting to complete today's actual combat mission. As for Su Yang, you need to hunt down 5 2-star monsters alone and complete the shooting, how about it? No problem. In the crowd, Su Yang nodded slightly. Hunt 5 2-star monsters. For him now, it's just a matter of raising a finger. If you are willing, one shot of magnetic explosion orbital ray can kill tens of thousands of low-level monsters within 100 miles in an instant. Each group, come and receive a charging barrier capsule. It can release a 3-star defensive force field for at least 10 minutes when your life is in danger. Within 10 minutes, the rescue personnel from the temporary base will be enough to reach your location. I won't go with you. When saying this, a trace of undetectable loneliness flashed in the eyes of the head teacher, Lao Wang. He used to be a 4-star mecha master. How many times have you galloped in the abyss and hunted monsters? But now, his mecha is damaged. Can't even get out of the temporary base. Otherwise, you will be affected by the erosion of the abyss. Don't worry, old Wang, we will definitely complete the mission. I guarantee it will be completed. Just wait here for us to come back. Everyone, come on. Lao Wang's business. Most of the students in the class know it. At this time, it was natural to understand that Lao Wang was moved by the scene. They all changed the topic and patted their chests to ensure that they would complete the task. Seeing this, Lao Wang's sporadic sadness quickly disappeared, and he smiled and waved his hand. You little, go quickly, the mission time is 5 hours, remember it. After leaving the temporary base, Su Yang headed directly towards the location marked on the map. It was more than 100 kilometers away and we arrived in less than half an hour. Then, it took another half an hour to find all 5 2-star monsters. Killing them one by one while recording the video took less than an hour in total. As for the others, still on the way, after doing all this, the remaining time is Su Yang's own disposable time. After taking a look at the commission panel of the Apocalypse system, he selected a few more suitable tasks with more generous point rewards and then headed towards the task area. Whoa, 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 the sword shadow flashed. The monster's body was torn into pieces instantly. Su Yang skillfully stepped forward and removed the exposed heart. 3-star monster element devouring jackal. This is a pretty tough monster. Some clues can be seen through its name, eating yuan. This jackal-like monster has evolved the ability to swallow energy due to the erosion and transformation of the abyss energy. Any energy-based attack at the second energy level and below can be swallowed by it and turned into its own power. Therefore, the best way to deal with it is to kill it with physical attacks. Just what Su Yang is best at is close combat. However, on the first level of the abyss, 3-star monsters are already the highest level. Not only were the numbers extremely rare, but the distribution was also quite remote, which took Su Yang a lot of time. Until now, I still don't know what kind of weapon this Yuannang nuclear weapon sword is made of. It feels ridiculously easy to use. Tearing the body of a 3-star monster into pieces is just like chopping vegetables. Thinking silently, Su Yang did some calculations and found that the collected element-devouring jackal hearts seemed to be enough. Open the commission platform of the Apocalypse system, upload the heart of element-devouring jackal, complete the task, 4,000 points, get it. He glanced at the time. There is only 1 hour left before the meeting. In the past 3 hours, I completed 2 commission tasks and earned a total of 7,000 points, which is pretty good. It's almost enough to buy a B-level accessory. I'm just too short of points right now. The advanced growth opportunity requires 200,000 Apocalypse points. The top growth opportunity requires 1 million Apocalypse points. As for the God level, 5 million Apocalypse points, it's too exaggerated. Su Yang sighed. God level amplification opportunity. The starting point is a 100,000-fold increase. How terrifying would it be if a piece of A-level equipment were multiplied by 100,000 times? That must be equipment beyond the SSS level. But it also exceeds Su Yang's cognitive upper limit. At the very least, according to the knowledge Su Yang has access to so far, SSS level is already the highest level. After completing the task, Su Yang continued to wander around for a while, then planned to return to temporary base number 25 and join everyone. However, just at this time, a strange sound came. Filled the entire abyss level. This is a very special sound. It's like crying and complaining, but it's very remote. It's like someone, somewhere very far away, crying sadly. At the same time, there was a stinging pain. Brain tingling. How is this going? Su Yang stabilized his body and rushed towards temporary base number 25 at maximum speed. But the closer you get, the clearer this weird sound becomes. Until finally, Su Yang finally realized the source of the sound. It turned out to be close to temporary base number 25, the ruins of temporary base No. 24. After realizing this, Su Yang stopped temporarily. Eccentric. Definitely weird. Last time, I saw with my own eyes that temporary base number 24 suffered a sabotage attack. Although I don't know why the power of that attack was so terrifying, it clearly turned into nothingness. Su Yang had never seen that kind of nothingness, and it had never been mentioned in school courses. But according to common sense, there is absolutely no way there can be life in that kind of nothingness. But now, the source of that weird sound is in the void. After thinking for a moment, Su Yang decided not to join Lao Wang and the others for the time being. He glanced at the magnetic storm orbital ray on the right arm of his mecha. If some kind of special life really appeared there. Maybe, this is another opportunity. Just like last time, I had the opportunity to kill Apostle of the Abyss by myself. Thinking of this, Su Yong immediately distanced himself from temporary base No. 24. The last time he used Yuan Nang nuclear sword, the terrifying energy fluctuations almost affected him. Nowadays, although the energy of magnetic storm orbital rays is more concentrated and is a type of ray, it will not produce that kind of mushroom cloud explosion. But there is nothing wrong with staying a little further away. At the same time, the imperial capital of Daxia. Central government. In a certain room, a vigorous old man was sitting in his seat, handling daily official duties. The old man's name was Zhou Juji, one of the core figures of Daxia, with a high status. Last time, Luo Zhongong, the director of the Abyss administration, came to discuss with him after learning that the Abyss stable box had been damaged. Buzz. A message came from the encryption system. Mr. Zhou put down his official duties and took a look. Snap. The pen in his hand fell on the desk. The pupils shrank instantly. This is... How can it be? The horrifying information caused his brain to shut down briefly. But after all, he was a superior in a high position and held important weapons. He quickly came to his senses and frowned. Finally, he thought about it, opened the communication system, and found a person codenamed Qingluan. Qingluan, the first level of the Abyss. It seems like the flesh and blood regeneration of Mother of the Abyss. Go and deal with it. After all, it is a layer of suppressed flesh and blood. It should be weak at the moment. It must be dealt with quickly and secretly. 1 second later, the concise and clear reply there. Receive. Turn off communication systems. Mr. Zhou's frown showed no signs of relaxing. He took a deep breath, leaned back on the chair, and stared at the pale ceiling, thinking deeply. The recent mutation in the Abyss, followed by the Abyss energy transformation case, the Abyss stabilization box destruction case. Everything was like a huge web, as if it was going to wrap him up and make him breathless. Wrong. This web, what needs to be wrapped may be the entire Daxia. Even if it involves the whole world, he can't tell clearly. But the most important thing is, Mother of the Abyss after being killed and suppressed. Its flesh and blood can actually regenerate. This kind of thing has never happened. Thinking of this, he straightened up suddenly and called his assistant. Contact other central officials and convene an emergency court meeting. Hangzhou, intercity transfer point. A woman walked out of the teleportation point and headed straight towards the Abyss Authority. The woman's facial features are elegant and soft, and her gentle temperament is like the sister next door, which makes people want to look at her twice. Her fair and slender neck is as beautiful as a swan, and a pair of elegant gold-rimmed glasses rests on her nose. Generally speaking, the first impression may be that of a beautiful liberal arts teacher working in a certain school. However, absolutely no one would have thought of that. She is the Qingluan whom Mr. Zhou contacted, a 7-star mecha master. It belongs to a special department in Daxia and is directly under the jurisdiction and dispatch of the central government. A latte, thank you. On the way to the Abyss Authority, Qingluan ordered a latte. This is her habit. Before the battle. I need a cup of coffee to relieve my mood. Mother of the Abyss. While drinking a rich and fragrant latte, Bian continued to move towards the Abyss Authority. Qingluan was a little lost and thought about this name. Her department. He once made an indelible contribution to the development of the Abyss. Because of this, as a member of this department, she had the opportunity to know what the Mistress of the Abyss was referring to. But, recorded in the department's annals, the branches of the Abyss Mistress from the 1st level to the 13th level of the Abyss have all been eliminated and suppressed. Can a killed being be resurrected? Isn't this nonsense? But, anyway, now that he's resurrected, just kill him again. Thinking like this, before he knew it, he had arrived at the Abyss Jurisdiction Bureau. By forging a false identity, Qingluan passed the test, entered the Abyss transmission channel and headed to the 1st level of the Abyss. The 1st level of the Abyss. Jia, after the distant, faint and shrill cry at the beginning. That weird sound turned into this mind-shaking scream. The stinging effect on the brain has become more and more obvious, causing the nearby mecha masters to almost collapse. Temporary base No. 25. Given that the temporary base is made of special materials, It can resist a certain amount of abyss erosion, and naturally it can also slightly hinder the sharp screams that sting the nerves. However, relief does not mean complete elimination. Especially for Lao Wang. After all, he is no longer a mecha master. The core of the mecha has been damaged. At this time, the pain in the brain was several times greater than that of other people. Who else hasn't arrived yet? He endured the stinging pain in his brain. Start counting the list of classmates in the class. Finally, I discovered that there were still 4 people who hadn't arrived. 3 of them are from a group, and the other one is Su Yang. At this moment, an even more shrill wail sounded. "Ah, Teacher Wang, you have a nosebleed." A female classmate looked flustered and said with a cry. When Lao Wang heard this, he frowned and wiped his nose with his hand. The scarlet color shocked him. However, the students haven't arrived yet. As the head teacher, how could he leave without permission? "Teacher Wang, please go back first. We can just wait here for Su Yang and the others." "Yes, Teacher Wang, you are not a mecha master. Your resistance is much worse than ours." "Yes, Teacher Wang, please leave quickly." The students were running around anxiously. Lao Wang just wanted to wave his hand and refuse. But suddenly the world was spinning, his feet went soft, he lost consciousness and passed out. "Ah, Teacher Wang, old Wang," everyone screamed and rushed forward. Finally, everyone decided to separate a few people to escort Lao Wang back to the main world. "The rest of you will continue to wait here for a while. If Su Yang and the others haven't come back when they can't hold on any longer, they will return to the main world." Soon, the unconscious Lao Wang entered the transmission channel under the escort of several classmates. The remaining people were waiting nervously and anxiously for the return of Su Yang and others. Temporary Base No. 25. When Qingluan walked out of the teleportation point. Beside him, a comatose middle-aged man was being escorted away by several students-looking boys and girls. Qingluan was slightly stunned. Then, the shrill neighing sound also reached her ears. As expected, the mistress of the abyss. Qingluan's eyes changed slightly. This level of erosion was nothing to her, an 8-star mecha master. After drinking the remaining latte in his hand, he threw the quilt into the trash can nearby. While walking slowly towards the exit of the temporary base, he took out a rubber band from his pocket and tied up the hair that was hanging on his shoulders. What a nice view. A group of students are waiting for Su Yang and others to return to the temporary base. After seeing Qingluan, his eyes instantly lit up. Even though the nerves in my brain are still tingling. But seeing such a beautiful and elegant sister, well, it can still be a little relaxing. Etc. Is she leaving the temporary base? Seeing Qingluan walking towards the exit step by step, everyone's eyes were full of shock. Couldn't this beautiful sister hear that weird sound? Even with the shielding protection of the temporary base, they still felt very uncomfortable. If you go out, the impact will be greatly amplified, which will definitely cause irreversible damage to the brain, right? Do you want to remind her? Someone present asked softly. The rest of them looked at me and I looked at you, not knowing what to do. Finally, when they finally made up their mind to remind the beautiful sister, her figure had disappeared from their sight. After leaving temporary base No. 25, Qingluan simultaneously summoned his accompanying mecha. The color of the green mountains and the perfect curves are breathtakingly beautiful. The whole body is equipped with many top-level accessories, from auxiliary and acceleration devices to defense and attack accessories. Almost all of them are top-level SS-level configurations. It's been a long time since I've carried out a mission. Qingluan glanced at the ruins of the void after the temporary base number 24 disappeared and said with emotion. At the same time, in the ruins of the void, the strange screams became more frequent, and there were even looming figures emerging among them. Qingluan actually doesn't know the detailed information about Mother of the Abyss. Because a long time has passed since the department was established. She is considered a 6th-generation member of the department. Only those original members who participated in the development of the Abyss know the true face of the Mother of the Abyss. Take back your mind. Qingluan turned on the acceleration device. The S-class acceleration device allows her to achieve terrifying speeds several times the speed of sound, which is comparable to teleportation over short distances. The force field device that is activated in real time can offset 95% of the sound barrier caused by exceeding the speed of sound. According to Mr. Joe's wishes, this mission needs to be carried out secretly. It is not appropriate to use weapons of mass destruction, otherwise it will attract too much attention. Therefore, Qingluan decided to adopt a melee strategy and actively approached the Mother of the Abyss to kill her. But, just as Qingluan was heading towards the void ruins of temporary base number 24 at full speed, suddenly, the detection instrument issued a fierce warning. Alarm! Alarm! Strong energy level fluctuations have been detected, please evacuate quickly. Strong energy level fluctuations have been detected, please evacuate quickly. Qingluan, although confused, but as a 7-star mecha master, her instinctive reaction made her immediately overload the accelerator without thinking. At the fastest speed, he deviated from his original route and widened the distance from the void ruins of temporary base No. 24. Then, a terrifying ray as bright as day, like a divine punishment penetrating the sky, instantly hit the squirming figure in the ruins of the void from a corner of the abyss. Ray weapons. What's important is to concentrate all the energy at one point to form extremely high-intensity energy rays. Therefore, there will be no horrific aftermath like a nuclear explosion. But, when the terrifying ray hit the crawling figure in the ruins of the void, the weird hissing that was eroding the nerves in the brain all the time suddenly stopped in an instant. This is. Qingluan's pupils shrank instantly. The terrifying ray, just like a white rainbow piercing the sun, replayed in his mind. If I am not wrong in my estimation, then at least it is a ray with the power of the 8th level. On the 1st level of the abyss, how could a mecha master with such terrifying destructive power appear? Or, Zhou Laozai except himself, also sent the rest of the seniors in the department to carry out the mission. As a 7-star mecha master, he is far from being able to unleash such a terrifying attack. Only those seniors who have reached 8-star mecha masters can achieve this level. Apart from this possibility, is there any other explanation? Qingluan hesitated for a moment. He glanced in the direction of the ray. In the end, it was decided to confirm whether the mission target was completely dead. At the same time, somewhere quite far away from the void ruins of temporary base No. 24. Su Yang glanced at his mecha's right arm with lingering fear. Just now, that strange figure appeared. After locking the target yourself, directly use magnetic storm orbital ray to give it a shot. All we can say is that the power of SSS level weapons is terrifying. There is nothing special about the device absorbing energy. But when the energy was concentrated, amplified, and then released by the core of the magnetic storm orbital ray, then I realized that it was called a destructive level ray. The shrill scream that made the brain feel uncomfortable just stopped immediately after the guy was hit by the magnetic storm orbital ray, and now there is no movement at all. Su Yang took a deep breath, took out the energy supplement previously reserved, and injected some energy into the core of the mecha. Then, to avoid being discovered, directly turn on the energy flame acceleration device at full speed and rush towards temporary base number 25. On the way, Su Yang looked at his harvest. Successfully killed. XXXX. Tip: the killed target, 4X, was encrypted by the uploader of the illustrated book. Do you want to request access to the illustrated content from the uploader? Is there still such a situation? Su Yang was slightly startled. Apocalypse illustrated book. You can upload any monster or creature type that you have never seen before and get Apocalypse points. After the upload is successful, the first-time uploader can choose to make it public or encrypted. After it is made public, any mecha master will be able to query its detailed information. But if encryption is selected, you can only apply through application. Viewing is only possible with permission from the uploader. Otherwise, you can only understand and investigate the characteristics and information of the creature yourself. Apply. Forget it. Su Yang rejected the application. He didn't want to know what he had killed. He just needs to get the corresponding kill reward. After Su Yang refused to apply to see the information about the target he killed, the Apocalypse system enters the kill reward settlement process. Kill reward: 1 million Apocalypse points. Su Yang. 1 million Tianqi points. When Su Yang saw this, he was stunned. What kind of thing was he killing? If I remember correctly, last time I killed the 6-star Apostle of the Abyss, I was only awarded 200,000 Apocalypse points. Now, what is this thing that I killed? He actually gave 1 million apocalypse points directly. More importantly, I gained 1 million experience points again. Originally there was only 40,000 experience left, but now it has become 104,000 experience. As long as your mecha core compatibility is improved, you can be promoted without any obstacles. Is it cool? So cool. At the same time 1 million Tianqi points. Already able to purchase a top growth opportunity. This is a top level increase. The starting point is 1W times. The upper limit is 100,000 times. If you are lucky and get a 100,000 fold increase, it will be equivalent to a god level increase opportunity. Just thinking about it makes me feel like I'm about to take off completely. The excitement in my heart was hard to contain. Before I knew it, I was back at temporary base number 25. On the way, I also met another group of classmates. One of the students seemed to be severely affected and was temporarily unconscious. Su Yang glanced at the time. Nearly half an hour has passed since the agreed gathering time. Maybe it was because they were carrying an unconscious classmate that the movements of this group slowed down. Let me help. Su Yang stepped forward and took the initiative to carry the unconscious classmate on his back. As a 3-star mecha master, even if he brought an unconscious person with him, his speed was far faster than the two who were still 1-star mecha masters. Thank you God Su. It's okay, it should be. Let's go back quickly. Lao Wang and the others may still be waiting for us. The two nodded gratefully and immediately followed Su Yang. Su Yang, on the other hand, headed towards temporary base number 25 at a speed that the two of them could keep up with. At the same time, the other side, Qingluan is in trouble. She originally wanted to check whether the flesh and blood clone of the Mistress of the Abyss was dead. But when entering the void ruins of temporary base No. 24, I suddenly sensed an extremely chaotic magnetic field. Under the influence of this violent magnetic field, both the accompanying mecha and various instruments and devices have all suffered serious electromagnetic interference. How is this going? Qingluan frowned slightly. She knew very well that this level of magnetic storm chaos was definitely not something ordinary people could create. So, the guy who released the devastating ray just now created it at the same time. The targets of the chaotic magnetic storm field are not just mechas. Even the power of the creature itself will be severely weakened. This is, hitting the snake 7 inches away, not giving the flesh and blood clone of the Mistress of the Abyss a chance to resist. Qingluan was a little emotional. This method is really similar to the methods of seniors in certain departments. Fast, accurate and ruthless. Those who can kill with one strike will never strike a second time. The method that can make the mission target die will never be used again without hesitation. So, Mr. Zhou was afraid that he would not be able to complete the task, so he called an extra department senior to come and tell the truth. But she is also the best rookie of this generation after all. Besides, didn't that senior give him a chance to make a move? At least let her give it a try and then take action after failure, right? If you don't even give me a chance to try, what is this? Qingluan was a little depressed. But anyway, it seemed that the flesh and blood clone of the Mistress of the Abyss was completely dead. If you can still withstand the attack of the 8th level destructive ray, you will be in trouble. After all, this is just a flesh and blood clone from the first layer of the Abyss. Although it is very strong, it is still far behind. After confirming the death, Qingluan is ready to leave. A few minutes later, the chaotic magnetic storm field ended. This also proves from the side that this is indeed the handiwork of that big boss. However, she didn't know who it was. In the department, she only knew members of her own generation. Among the seniors, I really don't know anyone. Think so. She drives the accelerator. After the chaotic magnetic storm field ends, the device resumed its function, and within a few minutes, it arrived at temporary base No. 25. When entering the temporary base, she took off her mecha and took a look. The students just now were still waiting here. There is a boy who is quite handsome. After taking a few more glances, Qingluan stepped into the Abyss transmission channel and returned to the main world. Main world. After leaving the Abyss Authority, Qingluan opened the communication system and found Mr. Zhou. Qingluan, Mr. Zhou, the mission target has been confirmed dead. However, after all, this is just a flesh and blood clone on the first level of the abyss. In fact, with my strength, I should be able to successfully complete the task. Mr. Joe. Should. What is should? Didn't you say that the mission target has been confirmed dead? Qingluan. What I mean is that even if you don't send the other seniors, I should be able to kill this flesh and blood clone with my own strength. After this message is sent, there was no reply from Mr. Joe for a long time. Just when Qingluan was wondering, the message came again. Mr. Joe, I only assigned you to go on this mission alone. Because I know that you are strong enough to complete this mission. This is considered an exercise for you. What do you mean by seniors? After reading the message from Mr. Joe, Qingluan, Mr. Joe, didn't send the other seniors on the mission. Who took action at that time? That level of attack. No matter how you look at it, only an 8-star Mecha Master can send it out. But if he wasn't on a mission, whose 8-star Mecha Master would go to the first level of the abyss with nothing to do? While Qingluan was messy, he told Mr. Joe what happened on the first level of the abyss. 8th level destructive rays, chaotic magnetic fields, targeted one-shot kills. At this point, even Mr. Joe was confused. Obviously, he didn't know why a powerful Mecha Master capable of releasing 8th level attacks appeared on the first level of the abyss. It happened to be at the time when the flesh and blood clone of the Mistress of the Abyss was strangely resurrected. After a long time, Mr. Joe sent a message again. Although I don't know what happened, the target is dead and your mission is completed. The 8-star Mecha Master attacked the flesh and blood clone of the Abyss Mistress, which shows that his position is on our side, so the problem should not be big. Qingluan. Receive. The communication system was turned off. Qingluan shook his head, still confused. But since Mr. Joe said it was not a big problem, it should be fine. Thinking of this, Qingluan stretched out his hand to let down the hair tied behind his head, and instantly transformed into a gentle and pleasant goddess. However, while eating and drinking, she was still thinking about who the mysterious boss could be. Su Yang won't know. Inadvertently, he was regarded as the so-called mysterious senior by a powerful 7-star Mecha Master. It even entered the vision of the core figures of Daxia central government. Now, he has returned to the main world and is on his way to the hospital. Lao Wang has been sent to the hospital in advance. There are several classmates in the class who are also affected and need to go to the hospital. Hospital. Lao Wang, who was originally unconscious, is now awake. After testing, according to the doctor, it may have some slight impact on memory and intelligence, but it will not have much impact on normal life. After hearing this, everyone was still a little worried, but after all, it was not life-threatening, so they were relieved. Lao Wang was relieved after seeing Su Yang and learning that everyone had returned to the main world safely. I don't know what's going on recently, things keep happening. In the ward, I don't know who suddenly mentioned this. Everyone fell into silence immediately. Really? The frequency of accidents recently is indeed quite frequent. First there was the chaos of the abyssal storm, then there was the destruction and attack on the temporary base, and now there is a strange and shrill sound that affects the brain nerves. You know, in the past few years, the abyss has always been quite stable, and there have never been so many accidents as now. For a moment, everyone could feel that something big might be about to happen. You are all still kids, what do you want to do with this? On the bed, Lao Wang smiled. No matter what happens next, even if the sky falls, there will always be someone tall to hold it up. We have so many outstanding and powerful Mecha Masters in Daxia, what are you afraid of? Back then, I was also a 4-star Mecha Master. Even if the end of the world really comes and the country is no longer a country, we won't let you little fool go to the battlefield until the 3-star and 2-star Mecha Masters are dead. So, you just need to study hard and strive to get a good ranking in the big exam in a month's time and enter the Mecha University for further study. This is more important than anything else. When Lao Wang said this, he immediately cleared away the haze in everyone's hearts. While inspiring everyone, it also made everyone feel extremely proud of being born in Daxia. Old Wang, I heard that the top 3 in the national exam seem to be able to receive S-level rewards. Is it true? Beside Lao Wang's hospital bed, the fat boy in the class suddenly asked curiously. Hearing this, everyone looked at Lao Wang with curiosity on their faces. Even Su Yang was moved in his heart, waiting for Lao Wang's answer. S-level rewards. Now, I have a full 1 million apocalypse points. If you use top-level amplification to extract opportunities, and give S-level equipment a 100,000-fold amplification, how terrifying will the amplification become? By that time, it will definitely increase in size and become equipment that surpasses SSS level. Let's look at the SSS level Energy Nuclear Sword and Magnetic Storm Orbital Ray. Isn't that extremely powerful and can be easily neutralized? If it goes beyond the SSS level, that power is beyond what Su Yang can imagine now. Facing everyone's curiosity, Lao Wang smiled and his eyes fell on Su Yang. As per usual, yes. The top 3 in the national exam will be rewarded with S-level accessories. In addition, there are all kinds of excellent benefits. Work hard, Su Yang. I will work hard and never let down the teacher's expectations. Su Yang chuckled and nodded. The top 3 in the national exam, he is bound to win. Is there really an S-level reward? Next to him, Xiaopong's face was full of yearning. Next to him, a girl smiled and kicked him lightly. The teacher is still here. What bad words did you say? Hee hee, I'm not too excited. Xiaopong scratched his head, then looked at Su Yang, his eyes full of admiration. Su Shen, you are our hope in Hangzhou. In the past, the top 3 places in the national joint examination were almost all taken by people from the imperial and magic capitals. In this year's competition, I have a hunch that Su Shen, you will definitely be in the top 3. Someone chimed in with a smile. I feel like you are still underestimating Su Shen. He has only been awakened for 7 days, and he is already 3-star compatible. I don't want to brag about it. I think he is firmly ranked first. Someone is joking and asking for help. Su Shen, when you get rich in the future, don't forget us rookies. Someone laughed and punched the former. Ha 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 ha, you are just a noob, and your whole family is a noob. In the ward, everyone laughed together. You chase me, and you are extremely happy. Lao Wang, who was on the hospital bed, felt relieved when he saw this scene. As a teacher, except for being serious in class, the rest of the time, how can you not love your students? Although my head still hurts a little, I feel better when I see everyone laughing. After seeing that Lao Wang's condition was stable, everyone left the hospital and returned to school. Since Lao Wang took sick leave, he asked the teacher from the next class to take over the class. Everyone first worked as a group and uploaded videos of actual battles in the abyss. There are 6 groups in total, and each group has a difficult time completing its mission and hunting down 1-star monsters. But when it comes to Su Yang's combat video, the style of painting changed. 2-star monster. He was tortured and killed by Su Yang throughout the whole process without any ability to fight back. Those smooth and fast combat movements, and those extremely accurate damage calculations. Everyone realized once again that even without comparing the mecha talents, there was still an insurmountable distance between them and Su Yang. Even the teacher next door, who is a 3-star mecha master, praised Su Yang's fighting style and called him a natural fighting genius. In response, Su Yang only responded modestly. After watching the actual combat video of the Abyss, there are still various theoretical classes to take. For example, how to better sense the core of the mecha, how to use the mecha more efficiently. Anyway, everyone is back to the busy days of school, waiting for the national exam to come. Wednesday. 2 weeks have passed since the accident. Lao Wang also successfully recovered and was discharged from the hospital a few days ago. What the doctor called sequelae didn't show much. Now, there are only 15 days left before the national exam. All the new high school mobile armor masters in Hangzhou are working hard to train themselves. In the past 2 weeks, Abyss has become much more stable, and there have been no problems. Therefore, people often go to the Abyss to practice and improve their actual combat skills and combat experience. Su Yang, on the other hand, uses the extra time after completing each task to complete various commissioned tasks. After 2 weeks, I earned almost 20,000 apocalypse points, which is quite impressive. You know, those 1 million points are reserved for purchasing top growth opportunities, so in fact, Su Yang is still quite poor. In addition, there is good news, that is, Su Yang's Mecha core compatibility has increased from 3 stars at 2% to 3 stars at 18%. This is a pretty terrifying growth rate. Once discovered, it will definitely cause a huge sensation. Su Yang treats this with a normal mind. He just wanted to know. When the national exam comes, can I break through to 4 stars? After returning from another Abyss experience, everyone in the classroom began to prepare for the review and study combat skills. At the same time, on a certain building at No. 3 Middle School in Hangzhou, 2 familiar figures stood in front of the floor-to-ceiling windows, staring at this school that has been booming recently. Black Windbreaker, round face with glasses, they were the 2 people who created the Abyss transformation case last time. At this time, the round face with glasses stood beside the man in the black trench coat with excitement, and he patted his chest confidently. This time, I promise there will be no problems this time. Abyss X111 potion has been improved and its stability has been greatly improved. Even, Abyss X222 can verify the effect in this operation. Guaranteed, to your satisfaction. The man in black trench coat nodded silently. Seeing this, the round-faced man with glasses chuckled, took out a certain device, and pressed the button. Then, nearly 20 or so seemingly normal people suddenly surrounded the school from all directions. A total of 18 X111 test subjects and 2 X222 test subjects. At present, the alarm systems in the surrounding areas have completed the intrusion. It will take at least half an hour to restore. The strength of the experimental subject X111 is comparable to that of a 3-star Mecha Master, and the strength of the experimental subject X222 has reached the level of a 4-star Mecha Master. This school has become quite famous recently. The fat man with round face and glasses pressed the button of the device and said with a smile. After the recent Hangcheng joint entrance examination, the news that a monster genius emerged from Hangcheng No. 3 Middle School has spread throughout the city. To be able to reach the level of compatibility with the core of a 3-star mecha just 7 days after awakening, to be honest, it must be admitted that there is no one in a million, and perhaps that is an understatement. Genius. After listening to the round-faced glasses, the man in a black trench coat murmured. Covered in the shadow of the hat, the pair of sinister eyes looked like a predator, watching the unactivated experimental subject approaching the school. I want to live. Come on. I had expected it. The round-faced glasses seemed to have expected that the man in the trench coat would make such a request. When preparing the experimental subject, I have already introduced the identity information named Su Yang into the experimental subject's brain neural network. As long as Su Yang is found in the school, the experimental subject will capture him, and then use the instantaneous transmission technology we just developed to send him to our laboratory. Hear the words. The man in black trench coat paused and turned his head slightly. Isn't instant teleportation technology still in the experimental stage? If the transmission channel is unstable, where will he go? That's not clear. But we can't. Let's catch him openly, right? That's too low end. The round-faced man with glasses said with a smile, his tone full of confidence in his technical strength. At this point, the man in the black windbreaker stopped talking and continued to turn his gaze out the window. Hey, are you the parents of the students? It's class time now. Students' parents are not allowed to enter the school. School entrance. Security guard Lao Wu reminded the parents, who gradually gathered at the school gate in a kind tone. As a result, before he finished speaking, one of the parents came around behind him at some point and suddenly pierced his back with his palm. Old Wu's eyes bulged as he looked at the swaying parents in front of him. He tried to press the alarm, but was snatched away by the people behind him. As for the rest of my colleagues in the security room, it was also dealt with by a few parents who had just mixed in. Dangerous. Old Wu was helped into the security room. The second before closing his eyes, he watched the unidentified people staggering into the school. Due to being implanted with Su Yang's information, these 20 experimental subjects headed straight towards Class 1, Grade 3, where Su Yang was. It was class time now, so on the way to Class 1, Grade 3, they met few people at all. Those who occasionally encounter them will not have any doubts about them. After all, there are security guards. How could outsiders sneak into the school? That's all. They arrived all the way outside Su Yang's class. At this time, everyone was taking theoretical classes in the classroom, reviewing their recent practical experience in the abyss. At this moment, there was a loud bang. The classroom door was violently kicked open. The teacher who was in class frowned and wanted to say something, but his neck was violently broken by an experimental subject who entered the classroom first. In classrooms, first there was a deathly silence. Then, there were screams one after another. Everyone is a student, and most of them have hunted monsters on a daily basis. But killing is far from what they can accept. Only Su Yang was keenly aware of something amiss. Looking at those strange people whose actions were sometimes sharp and sometimes slow, I immediately thought of the mutant at that time. Everyone calm down. Activate Mecha form. After awakening, the school has completed the division of classes. The classroom at this time is full of people who have successfully awakened. Therefore, they can all turn on the Mecha form and fight. All you, I will fight with you. Several bloody boys roared and directly summoned the companion Mecha. Then, he rushed straight towards the person who killed the teacher. However, when they just rushed to the person, then the opponent stretched out his hand and grasped both arms tightly, and then with a click, they were twisted straight off. Ah! A shrill voice sounded. The severe pain made the boy's face instantly turn pale behind the mecha. Zhao Mei. When everyone saw this scene, they were instantly defeated by fear. Many girls even trembled and cried. Seeing this, Su Yang immediately realized that something was wrong. Last time, the mutant's strength was comparable to that of a 3-star mecha master. Even Chen Anan's A-level energy light cannon could not cause damage to him. If the strength of this group of people is the same as the mutant's last time, most of the classmates in the class will only become the targets of unilateral torture. Think of this. Su Yang's heart sank. He shouted directly at the people who were frozen in place due to fear. Transform into mecha form, and then, run. Run as fast as you can to find the teacher and ask the school to mobilize security forces. Quick. Su Yang's roar. Everyone came to their senses. Then, what about you? Some girls looked at Su Yang with tears in their eyes. I'm fine, I'll hold them off. Between words. Man, roared angrily. The clothes on my body exploded instantly. The terrifying muscles expanded instantly, covering it like armor. On the arms, several sharp thorns spread out from the flesh, which seemed to be the mutant's weapons. He took advantage of Su Yang to speak and rushed straight towards Su Yang. Aha! Su Yang also summoned the accompanying mecha. The sword shadow of the Yuannang nuclear sword in his hand flashed. The mutant was split into two instantly, and his body fell to the ground. Although it was still twisting and struggling, it was no longer a threat. I can handle them, just don't hold me back. Su Yang dropped the last words. Then he rushed straight towards the remaining mutants. Everyone knew that Su Yang's so-called holding back was actually just to let them leave first. Go, go, believe in Su Shen, let's go find the teacher and the others. Quick, ... After everyone left, Su Yang can finally let go. Surrounded by more than a dozen mutants. The appearance is almost the same as that of the previous mutant. The only thing that's different are the two mutants. Compared to other mutants, they are larger in size and naturally stronger. If nothing else happens, the strength of the two of them should be around 4 stars. 4 stars. Su Yang's eyes flickered. Not to mention 4 stars, he has killed even 6 stars or even higher ones. However, there is some difference. When I killed the 6 stars and the strange shadow, I used energy nuclear weapon sword and magnetic storm orbital ray. But now, I can only use the Yuannang nuclear sword as a melee weapon. But that's enough. Him now, but a real 3-star mecha master. Killing those 3-star mutants is like killing chickens and local dogs. As for the 2 4-star mutants, they were just a little more troublesome, but he could still kill them. Boom! The wall made a loud noise. A blurry figure flew out of the classroom, smashed the wall, and fell to the ground. That's it. A disdainful hum came out. Su Yang also rushed out of the classroom. Then he suddenly stepped on the head of the 4-star mutant. With the Yuannang nuclear sword here, killing those 3-star mutants is like chopping melons and vegetables. Blessed by Su Yang's innate combat skills and the combat experience honed in the abyss during this period. It didn't take long before more than a dozen 3-star mutants were killed. The remaining 2 4-star mutants. If Su Yang wanted to, with the strength of Yuan Nang nuclear sword, he could also complete the killing. Only, his current apparent strength is only a 2-star Mecha Master. A 2-star Mecha Master, even if there are A-level energy lightsaber and A-level energy cutting beam. Killing a dozen 3-star mutants is already the limit. If you want to kill 4-star mutants, it is really too exaggerated. Therefore, Su Yang put away that Yuan Nang nuclear martial sword, used these 2 4-star mutants as targets, and had a great time in a close combat fight. Anyway, if Su Yang does not use energy nuclear sword and magnetic storm orbital ray. So now, in terms of hard power data, he is better than most 3-star Mecha Masters, but he is not much better. But, because these mutants have been greatly enhanced physically, they have been greatly affected mentally. Therefore, the so-called combat power of the round-faced man with glasses that is comparable to that of a Mecha Master of the same level is actually quite suspected of exaggerating the facts. Therefore, relying on his rich combat experience, Su Yang is completely able to manipulate 2 4-star mutants at the palm of his hand. In the Mecha era, the size of the school has expanded dozens of times. Classes are not as close to each other as they were in the old days. What's more, Su Yang is in the Awakening class that was separated after the Awakening ceremony. It is located alone in the corner of the school. There are no other classes around for several kilometers, so Su Yang is not afraid of being discovered. A group of students who transformed into mechas and left the class. At this time, his expression was extremely anxious, and his heart was extremely worried. Why can't I contact the teachers? Me too. I just tried to call the school security guard, but I couldn't get through at all. This is. The signal is blocked. Not only has the signal been blocked, if it had been in the past, the automatic security system would have detected an enemy a long time ago. Now it seems that the system must have been invaded. Then what should we do? Su Shen is still behind. Everyone was about to cry while talking. Although there is no specific number of mutants there just now. But at least, there are more than 10. Su Yang alone gave them hope of survival. Now there seems to be a problem with the school's security system, and the communication signals are also interfered with. Among the crowd, Zhao Mu, who had one of his arms broken, looked pale, gritted his teeth, and had cold sweat on his forehead. I want to go back and help Su Shen. The communication system is interfered with and we can't contact you. You can go directly to the guards. Quick, hear the words. Another boy who is usually relatively taciturn in the class also stood up. I also want to go back. Even if I can't help you, it should be enough to delay it. After he stood up, the other boys looked at me and I looked at you, and they all gritted their teeth. I am coming too. I want to be a man, so what kind of man am I if I leave Su Shen behind alone? I can't let you act like heroes. If you want to die, let's all die together. In this case, the fat little guy who usually laughed and laughed has become the most sober person. He stretched out his hand to wipe the cold sweat from his forehead and said tremblingly. In this case, girls immediately rushed to the guard team to find support. We boys, go back and help Su Shen buy time. Try not to fight those ghosts head on, just delay. Okay. Good. Just do it. Come on, everybody. After everyone made a decision, the girl immediately went to the guard station as quickly as possible to seek support. The boys rushed back in the direction of the class. Su Yang, who was beating 2 4-star mutants, raised his head and suddenly noticed several figures approaching from not far away. So fast, he originally thought it was support from the school guard. Take a closer look. What's going on? Why are they back? Before Su Yang could react, everyone is almost here. The little fat one among them even yelled, Su Shen. The school's security system failed and communication signals were disrupted. Girls, they have already gone to find the guards. We are coming back to help you share the pressure. We just need to delay, huh? Little fatty's words were stuck in his throat before he finished speaking. What he originally wanted to say was that he just needed to delay. But the problem is, where are the dozen ghosts who were here just now? Why are none of them missing? Only 2 are left in front of you. Not just Chubby. The rest of the people were also confused at this time. Originally, they had the courage to sacrifice generously, and wanted to come back to help Su-young buy time for the guards to arrive. But now, it's completely like drawing a sword and looking around with a confused mind. Etc. Is it those guys? Everything has been taken care of by Su Shen. Think of this possibility. Everyone's eyes twitched slightly. Grass. They knew that Su-young was very strong, extremely strong. But the problem is, now it can no longer be described as strong, but strong and abnormal. You all stay away. These 2 guys are as powerful as 4-star monsters. He knew that everyone came back with good intentions and wanted to help him buy time. Su-young couldn't say much. I can only remind you helplessly. Just now, he violently beat up the 4-star mutant, and it felt hot. Now it seems that he can only pretend to buy time. To be honest, it would be better if Su-young didn't say this. When it was said that the strength of these 2 mutants was 4 stars, everyone was immediately dumbfounded. Did they hear it correctly? 4 stars. Many people's faces suddenly turned pale. The little fat guy couldn't stand still and almost fell over. 4 stars, 4 stars. What is this concept? When the head teacher, Lao Wang, was still a mecha master, he only had 4 stars. Result: Su-young not only dealt with more than a dozen mutants in such a short period of time. Can he even appear to be at ease in front of 2 4-star monsters? This is still not a human being. Even if you are a genius, there must be a limit anyway. They are also students who have just awakened. The difference is so big. Everyone was shocked. What Su-young was worried about did not happen. The 2 4-star mutants had no intention of turning the blame on their classmates. But all the attention is on yourself. This is coincide. Is it their biological instinct to kill the strongest first? Or some sort of purposeful arrangement? If it is some kind of purposeful arrangement, does it mean, are you being targeted? This is what he thought in his heart, but Su-young's figure did not stagnate at all. Faced with the attack of 2 mutants, he still managed to deal with it with ease. This scene made the rest of the people present dumbfounded. This is, before awakening, the terrifying strength that ranked first in the actual combat course. This situation, it didn't last long. After about 5 minutes, the support of the guard arrived, led by the girls in the class. A few minutes later, 2 4-star mutants were killed. But the few guards who rushed to support were also confused. They are real 4-star mecha masters. When fighting these 2 4-star mutants, they can deeply understand their difficulty. Result: this student, how could he hold off 2 mutants for such a long time on his own? After learning that Su-young was the evil genius who was in the limelight in the school recently, their shock did not diminish at all. On the contrary, they were even more shocked by Su-young's strength. No matter how evil a genius he is, to be able to hold down 2 4-star mutants during this period of time can only be said to be terrifying. There are still some corpses of 3-star mutants in the classroom. Please deal with them. The guard members were shocked. Su-young, who had consumed most of his energy, took off his accompanying mecha, pointed at the ruins of the classroom, and said, "Guard member, in the classroom, too." They looked at each other. Then he walked to the classroom that had become ruins. After moving several major building debris away, we saw a dozen corpses lying inside. At this time, in their hearts, there is only one idea. It shocked my mother for 100 years. Half an hour later, people from the Law Enforcement Bureau arrived. Because the matter concerns mutants, the officers of the Law Enforcement Bureau took it seriously and immediately sealed off the entire school. However, when the Law Enforcement Bureau officers learned that so many mutants were killed by a student instead of the school's guards, they all saw deep shock in their eyes. Afterwards, in order to avoid causing a larger sensation and commotion, the Law Enforcement Bureau secretly transported all the mutant corpses out of the school. As for the aftermath, it is the responsibility of the corresponding logistics department. On a building not far from No. 3 Middle School in Hangzhou. The man in the trench coat's eyelids twitched slightly. The round-faced man with glasses wiped the cold sweat from his forehead. How can this be? 18 3-star experimental subjects, 2 4-star experimental subjects. It should be more than enough to deal with a class of new mobile armor masters. How could it be possible that even the guards arrived before we could deal with those brats? Just now, in his hand, the instrument associated with the experimental subject's life data showed. The experimental subjects were completely wiped out. As a result, the guy named Suyong was naturally not caught. It's just, you shouldn't even think about it, right? In the joint entrance examination 2 weeks ago, he was only a 2-star mecha master. Even if the core compatibility of the mecha has reached 3 stars, it is impossible to be promoted from 2 stars to 3 stars in 2 weeks, right? How many monsters do you need to kill? This is what a kid in the 3rd year of high school can do. However, faced with sweaty round face glasses, although the man in black trench coat said nothing again. But he didn't just leave silently like last time. There was a hint of thinking in those sinister eyes. Suyong, genius. Hangzhou, Law Enforcement Bureau, morgue. The exact same situation happened once not long ago. Only this time, there was no longer one corpse lying on the bed, but a total of 20. After testing by the researchers, it was concluded that the strength of 18 of the mutants was similar to the last time, and they were all 3-star level. 2 of them even reached an exaggerated 4-star strength. If placed in the abyss. To be honest, a dozen 3-star monsters and 2 4-star monsters are nothing at all. On the 2nd level of the abyss, you can see them everywhere. But the problem is, this is the main world. The main world. In the past, the law enforcement targets of the Law Enforcement Bureau were at best criminal mecha masters. But now, they also have to face this kind of mutant that has been transformed by evil and has a human body, comparable to mecha masters and monsters. This symbolizes a break in balance. Once, only the abyss was a symbol of danger. Now, in the main world, there may be fatal dangers at any time. Who on earth, mother, did such a thing? Zhao Wei's face was ashen. I really couldn't hold back the curse words. Everyone present was silent, looking at the corpse of the mutant that was obviously different from ordinary people, and remained silent. In silence, Zhao Wei took a deep breath. Looking at the corpses of 18 3-star mutants. Their corpses were almost all cut in half, and the cause of death was quite obvious, they were killed with a single knife. At this time, the confidant beside him whispered softly in Zhao Wei's ear. Bureau Zhao, these 18 3-star mutants were all killed by the student named Suyong. The remaining 2 4-star mutants were also held back by him and killed by the school guard who arrived in time. Hear the words. Zhao Wei was stunned for a moment. Regarding Suyong, he was quite impressed. The SSS-level encrypted identity has been widely circulated today, a rare mecha genius. Last time, it seemed that he killed a 3-star mutant with one blow. At that time, he was a newly awakened 1-star mecha master. Now he should be a 2-star mecha master. However, it was actually able to kill 18 3-star mutants. Not only that, he was even able to hold down 2 4-star mutants without getting hurt. Zhao Wei has seen many geniuses of all kinds. I can't help but sigh in my heart. Abnormal, really too perverted. In comparison, all the geniuses I have seen seem to pale in comparison. However, despite feeling shocked, Zhao Wei is still very clear. Su Yang's genius, monster, and perversion are not the focus now. The focus now is to find out who transformed these mutants and who ordered them to attack the school. Check it for me. You must give me an explanation within 3 days. Besides, I have upgraded and strengthened the alarm systems of every high school in Hangzhou. It's so easy to be hacked, and everyone in the information department is a loser. By the way, in addition to the alarm system, the security force will also be doubled. The National Joint Entrance Examination is coming soon. If something happens at this juncture, no one will be able to get over it. Yes. Imperial Capital, Abyss Research Institute. Because the analytical instruments in Hangzhou are not advanced enough. After collecting data and samples for several days, Yan returned to the General Administration Research Institute in the Imperial Capital to conduct corresponding analysis. At this time, Yan was in her exclusive laboratory. Ding! News came from the communication system. Yan, who had just finished analyzing a sample, opened the communication system and took a look. It was a message from the director. Director, The application I submitted for you was approved by the central government, and the upcoming reconstruction of the Z1 to 124 Abyss stabilizing box should start soon. By the way, I heard recently that a great genius came out of Hangzhou. That's the area you're responsible for, right? The reconstruction work will be carried out after the national examination. You, the selector of the faceless person, must carefully check. Application approved. And Yan's eyes lit up. This is one of the few things that can affect her mood. Besides, she was slightly surprised. Did that young man named Su Yong actually attract the attention of the director? The figure of the young man who attracted much attention at that time flashed through her mind, and Yan thought of what Morong said to her yesterday. Morong's younger sister is also a senior in high school this year, in the same class as Su Yong. She is studying in Shanghai and passed the recent joint entrance examination in Shanghai. Her mecha core compatibility also reached 3 stars, and because of this incident, it caused a sensation in the entire Magic City. Have no idea, between these two people, who is stronger and who is weaker. Never mind, there are only 2 weeks left before the national exam. By then, who is stronger and who is weaker, won't it be decided? However, since both are 3-star compatibility, if the Abyss phase test passes, they should all be selected as reserve members of Abyssal Ones. As one of the most dazzling talents of the younger generation in Daxia today. And Yan herself doesn't care too much about the so-called talent. In her eyes, talent can only indicate where a person's upper limit is. However, among the trillions of people in the world, how many can reach their upper limit? So, before growing up, the so-called evil geniuses are actually no different from ordinary people. Take back your mind. And Yan started a new analysis of data and materials. Hangzhou. The school was temporarily closed for the day due to the attack. The Law Enforcement Bureau announced that an illegal organization had attacked the school and did not mention any information about mutants. Under this kind of confidentiality work, although it caused quite a stir in the outside world, it was still within control and did not escalate the situation. After accompanying other classmates to sign a confidentiality agreement at the Law Enforcement Bureau, Su Yong finally returned home in the evening. At home, Su Yong leaned on the sofa. I opened a can of Coke and took a big gulp. Today's attack always feels a bit strange. Those mutants said they were attacking the school, but in fact, it was better to say that they came specifically to attack him. Except for the substitute teacher who was killed and Zhao Mu who took the initiative to attack, those mutants almost never targeted others. This is also the reason why Su Yong was able to hold back the group of mutants and prevent them from killing the other classmates. Otherwise, those of my classmates who are only 1 star have a high probability of dying at the hands of mutants. Are they specifically targeting me? Is it because of the talent shown in the joint entrance examination that people are thinking about it? Su Yang's eyes were calm. He has his own limit of patience. If you are really in a hurry, even if this is the main world and a city, he doesn't mind if he uses a magnetic storm orbital ray or a Yuannang nuclear sword nuclear explosion to send those with evil intentions to the sky. I took a look at the charge of Yuannang nuclear sword 21,034 100,000ths. In the past 10 days, I have accumulated 2 charges. However, in order to avoid a real nuclear war, it is more secure to increase our strength. Right now, I'm just a 3-star mecha master, and I've been at level 30 for nearly 2 weeks. The core compatibility of the mecha is still far from 4-star. What exactly is the so-called spiritual contract method? It can actually actively increase the compatibility of the core of the mecha. Ding! Just as Su Yong was thinking, news came from the communication system. I took a look. It's Chen Anon. Chen Anon, I heard something happened at your school. Are you okay? If you're not busy, please reply. I'm a little worried. The so-called words are like the people they are. It can also be information such as its person. Seeing this information, Su Yong seemed to be able to see Chen Anon's worried face. Su Yong, don't worry, I'm fine. Ding, another message alert came. Su Yong originally thought it was Chen Anon's reply. At first glance, it turned out to be news about Chen Loyan. Chen Loyan, are you okay? A concise and clear message. After several times, the 2 sisters' completely different personalities were revealed vividly. Su Yong, fine. Chen Loyan, as long as it's okay. Then, there will be no follow-up. Just like Chen Loyan's cold personality. On the contrary, Chen Anon's message reminders sounded from time to time, and the topic became further and further away. Su Yang, now you are well known in our school. Let me tell you, there are many girls in our class who say you are very handsome. Su Yang, when the National College entrance examination is over, which university do you plan to go to? Or are you saying that you haven't thought about it yet? Su Yang, I know a restaurant that is better than Hehe, do you want to try it? Ah, I have a guest at home. I'm really sorry, I'll talk to you next time. Chen family. In Chen Anon's bedroom, the girl was lying on the bed, wearing loose home clothes. The slender and round legs were lifted up, and the white and tender feet fell on the quilt one by one, just like the beating heart of the girl. At the same time, those crimson cheeks were like the evening sunset outside the window. In his shining eyes, although he was looking at the screen, the young man's face was reflected. Squeak. At this moment, the door is opened. Chen Anon quickly hid her phone under the pillow, turned over and sat up, pretending that nothing happened, but her eyes dodged. Sister, I told you that you have to knock on the door when you enter my room. Door. Chen Loyan glanced under the pillow behind her sister intentionally or unintentionally. Although there was no light in the room, she noticed the blush on her sister's face at a glance. If nothing else, he should be chatting with Su Yang, right? Thinking of this, Chen Loyan's eyes dropped slightly. Compared to myself, my sister is such a lively and cheerful girl. It must be easier to please people, right? Never mind. Think about what to do if you don't have these. Chen Loyan shook her head and shook off the thoughts in her mind. He glanced at his sister's loose and cute home clothes and said helplessly. We have guests at home. Please tidy up and change your clothes. Oh, okay, come right away. After Chen Loyan left, Chen Anon took out the mobile phone under the pillow. Ah, I have a guest at home. I'm really sorry, I'll talk to you next time. Then, he quickly changed into a set of formal clothes and left the room. Chen's house, study room. After greetings from the Chen sisters, Zhao Wei came to the study to visit his leader, the previous director of the Law Enforcement Bureau, Chen En. Chen En, who is now nearly 70 years old, has long since retired from his position as law enforcement director and is spending his remaining years at home. However, even back then, due to a certain mission, his accompanying Mecha was completely destroyed and he became an ordinary person. The former director is still in good spirits, his brows and eyes are still full of righteousness, his eyes are as sharp as an eagle, and there is no sign of aging. Xiao Zhao, did you come to see me today for something? I can't hide anything from you, teacher. Zhao Wei let out a long sigh and smiled helplessly. After recounting what happened recently, he sighed. Hangcheng, it feels a little uneasy. Hearing this, Chen En smiled. When there is peace, there are peaceful ways to govern. When there is unrest, there are also unpeaceful ways. Why, if you still have to do something about this kind of thing, it means that I made a mistake when I recommended you to be the director. That's not the case. Zhao Wei coughed lightly. These matters are my responsibility, and I will definitely handle them directly. I came here this time to ask if you know about this kid Su Yang. Hear Su Yang's name. Chen An's eyes suddenly became sharp. But soon, normalcy returned. He thought for a moment, then pressed a button at hand. The moment the button was pressed, the entire study was enveloped by a strange force. This is the highest level of confidentiality system in Daxia currently, which can guarantee that it will not be eavesdropped in any way. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.